Well, at long last, we have finally, through all the long waits and a bit of some scheduling, have finally gotten around to seeing Deadpool and Wolverine.
Yep.
And admittedly, I did not go see this opening weekend because I was out of town. And, well, apparently it made a lot of money, so that's good for it.
Yeah, it definitely did. Made a lot of money to help Marvel out in its hiatus right now.
Oh, I'm pretty sure it did, especially considering the Marvels was like its first major flop.
Well, you have like other Marvels been going up and down, or whatever. It's a TV show flopping, or another TV show doing great, or a movie flopping, or another movie doing great. This one is going up the trail, with really good box office, income basically.
Yeah, and so before going into this, I had heard some good things about it. Mostly good things about it.
Yep.
However, though, I am going to say something that is not going to make fans happy, and I have alluded to this in prior videos. I am not a Deadpool fan. In fact, I think Deadpool is one of the few Marvel characters that I don't have a lot of love for.
Deadpool, if you can just grab the camera like you did in the movie, appreciate that.
I'm getting a lot of hate mail for what I'm about to say, but I don't care. I need people to know, but it's just I never read a lot of Deadpool comics, and I don't think I discovered Deadpool until much later on, somewhere down the road.
You mean like the Ryan Reynolds?
It was
first initial Deadpool,
and Origins Wolverine, and then there was Hulk versus Wolverine. That was my first encounter with the character.
Oh yeah, that one.
But it's just I've never read a Deadpool comic, but I would like to think with the 3 Deadpool movies that we have gotten, if the comics are anything like this, it's kind of a good thing I never got into Deadpool, because I mean Deadpool is a very funny character from what I know. And he does a lot of meta commentary and breaking the fourth wall, which meta commentary, it depends really. Like if you do it in a parody or a comedy, I'm okay with it. But when you're doing it in like a mainstream story, that's where I'm like, oh, you're going to spend the whole thing pointing things out that I may already know. But however, though, there is one depiction of Deadpool, though, that I do like. It's from Hulk versus Wolverine.
Yep.
Where, yes, he's still the merc with a mouth. He's still being wisecracking and funny, but he's not doing anything meta. He's not breaking the fourth wall. He's just being a character among the other characters.
Yep.
Which is what I would like to see for Deadpool, but they just seem to really focus on him being funny and like breaking the fourth wall and being all meta and stuff.
I mean, I would say for comic book and a lot of sort of stuff, that's what he kind of does. That's what he does.
Yeah, it's just if I wanted to do a more serious depiction of Deadpool, which I cannot recall if that's been done in comics.
I don't know. I believe in comic, but they did do a serious Deadpool one time with X-Men.
Oh, Origins Wolverine.
Yep, and that one was the most hated.
Well, yeah, it's disliked because of the way they treated the character, and back then they just didn't have a lot of confidence in embracing the wacky stuff that comes with comics or the fantastical stuff.
Yep.
They wanted a more realistic angle with the character.
Yeah, so they tried that, and it did not work.
So what I'm trying to get at here is like you could still have him be the merc with a mouth. You could still have him make jokes and be funny, and you could still have him wear his iconic suit. It's just I feel like the way I would write Deadpool if I was given the writer's chair, like I would write him kind of similar to Slade in Teen Titans, but not 100%.
Which is kind of funny because the way I kind of described it to my dad about Deadpool, I'm like, it's Deathstroke or Slade, just with a lot more funnier attitude.
Yeah, I would kind of write him more like Slade from Teen Titans, and you could still have him be funny. He just needs to know how to balance out the comedy with his seriousness.
And also Deadpool's immortal too, unlike Deathstroke.
Yeah, technically in Teen Titans, Deathstroke, he died, but Trigon brought him back.
Okay, but that's different. That's and like a godlike being bringing him back to life versus Deadpool, which because of all the experimentation got on him, he became immortal.
Yeah, that's it. It's just I don't know. It's like if I just like the way I would write my characters. If I'm writing a character, is like I could keep some stuff in there that works, but at the same time, it's like I would just make him more fit in with the story rather than have him be funny 100%, I know that's not going to make a lot of people happy, but I would have to explain it the best way I can. It's just, I feel like, with these overly funny characters, I feel like there's potential to have them be really, really story impactful. And it can be the case, but it's like, there's some characters you like, other characters you don't like too much. There's a lot for me to go into that. I don't want to dwell on it too much. But yeah, I'm not the biggest Deadpool fan, despite me liking his depiction in Hulk versus Wolverine.
I'm sure Peter Parker would like to say something else or say different about Deadpool.
Peter Parker?
Yeah, because there's been a lot of also comic book of Peter and Deadpool teaming up as well, or at least being the same one, and they have a tendency to, how like Spider-Man from time to time will break the fourth wall. Deadpool does it a lot, so the two together is like...
I think, I do remember.
Basically, in terms of Deadpool, a match made in heaven.
I mean, there's been animated instances where Spider-Man broke the fourth wall.
Yeah.
But usually the best Spider-Man depictions are the ones where they're actually telling a really good story with the character.
Yep.
And he's being a character throughout the whole thing.
Yep.
And, I mean... It's interesting you mentioned that because Hugh Jackman has now toyed with the possibility of crossing over with Tom Holland and doing some kind of team up with him, and I'm like...
Wolverine and Spider-Man. Now that would be interesting. And then I could also see Deadpool at one point just coming and be like, "You're going to team up with Spidey over me after all we went through?"
And then he's like, well, Bub, he's young. We could teach him a few things and get him a little violent.
Teach him what? He's only just a child, though.
Hey, I'm not a child. I'm in my 20s.
You're still a child.
No, when you're in your 20s, you reach the... I'm not even going to go into that.
Don't worry. We'll let the audience decide that. Here, the vote right now.
Oh, jeez. They might do that if they decide to make that kind of a team up.
Yeah.
Anyway, but prior to this, I did not rewatch the two Deadpool films that were 20th Century Fox produced. I wanted to, but my timing didn't work out.
Yeah, I remember the first one, not so much as the second one. Although for the third one, even though they had some slight few seconds of refreshing of the two movies, however, I didn't feel like you would need to see any of the two movies per se for the most part to get the understanding what's happening with this third one.
I mean, it's just I feel like if I had watched them beforehand, what kind of context would I have gotten?
Yeah.
But I think I liked this. From what I remember, I think I liked the second one a little more than the first one.
Yeah.
But that was years ago. I haven't seen the second one since 2018.
Yeah.
And my abiding memory of the first Deadpool when it came out was I remember when I saw it with my dad, and there was this family, and there were some young kids in this family. They came into the movie theater. Yeah. The first scene where Deadpool and Vanessa hook up, they walk out, and they never come back. And it's like, did you not do your research? This is an R-rated Marvel movie.
And it's like we thought we came in and saw Marvel. This is Deadpool. This is R-rated. This is X-Men type of shenanigans.
Yeah, and it's like, did you not see the rating? Did you not research it? Did you not know there's stuff in here that's not for kids?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
I know, it's like, did you not know this is the X-Men type of shenanigans? They are usually rated R.
Well, most of the X-Men stuff was PG-13.
Okay, that's right. He did mention... Ryan Reynolds, Deadpool did mention PG-13 besides the last one.
Yeah, but it's just, it was so weird. I remember that happening when I saw Deadpool. I mean, it's just my folks, at that young of an age, would not let me watch an R-rated movie. Yeah. They would have been like, no, you gotta wait till you're older, because my folks didn't want me and my siblings, seeing all that bad stuff at a young age and being influenced by it. And with everyone else, it's different. But I also remember during Deadpool, there were a bunch of other scenes, and I know there were kids in the audience when the first Deadpool came out. Yeah. And I'm like, oh gosh, they're that young and they're seeing all this content. This is going to warp their little minds. I don't know. Everyone's different. Yeah. So anyway, now we got to this movie. And I still remember the day you texted me that announcement video Ryan Reynolds made, where he's like, well, I want to team up with Hugh Jackman. And then Hugh Jackman's walking up the stairs, and he's like, sure thing, Ryan.
It's like... Hey, Hugh, do you want to team up one last time? Yeah, sure. It's like,
Yeah, they made him a big offer of money to be in this.
Yeah.
But I think, with this movie, I will say this. The only thing I spoiled myself on, and it is a big one, was the cameo list.
Oh yeah, and that was the big part of the movie, was all the cameos.
Well, it's just, there was so much speculation before this came out, and it was really bothering me. So much so. The speculation got to the point where it's like, okay, I have to look this up and find out who's in this.
See, when I initially watched this, and keep in mind for people out there, by this recording, this is my third watch.
This is the first time I've seen it.
Yeah, so when I first initially watched this, I didn't see the cameo list. I just went in there blind, basically.
Yeah, well, with me, it's like there was so much speculation before this came out, and I was so bothered by it.
Yeah.
It got to the point where it's like I have to look up what's going on.
Yeah.
But even then, I was still like, oh wow, that's interesting. But by seeing their depictions in this, it's like, huh. What was I getting all excited about?
Well, we got the first one with, or one of the first few ones, which is Henry Cavill as Wolverine, or a variant of Wolverine.
Oh yeah, that was like an interesting choice. Actually, it's like,
I mean, he played Superman and The Witcher. I mean, at least the Witcher part would fit to the Wolverine.
Yeah.
Which he kind of played into that.
I guess so. I've just never seen the Witcher show.
It's really good.
But I think, yeah, with Henry Cavill as Wolverine, spoiler, that's a cameo. But Henry Cavill, interesting choice. Choice. I'm not quite sure who else I would have gotten to play the new Wolverine if they had, because I know they're going to do an eventual reboot.
Yep.
But it's kind of interesting that we see Henry Cavill as Wolverine. Yep. But I don't know if he's going to stick around for future stuff.
We'll see, because that is a possibility for being the MCU's Wolverine, or 616.
I mean, it could be, but I don't think that was confirmed. That was the 616 sacred timeline.
It was not confirmed. That is true, but it is out there though, because technically, this Deadpool is played in the 10005 or 10006. I think whatever the labeling's on there.
Their labeling was weird. I called it Earth 10,005.
Or if you want to go in the other way, 20th Century Fox Marvel, basically the X-Men.
Yeah, and
the X-Men timeline that we grew up.
Yeah, all those 20th Century Fox Marvel movies that we grew up on, and actually on the posters for this film, I did see the 20th Century Fox, well, now 20th Century Studios logo on there.
Yeah.
And before we saw this, I was like, oh, are they going to have the opening fanfare that always came with 20th Century Fox?
Yes,
nope, that's not in here.
Nope, they went with the Disney Marvel stuff. Although they did have 20th Century logo in there, it was just in the void.
Oh, we'll get into that.
Yeah.
But the reason I bring up the opening fanfare for 20th Century Fox was that no matter how you were first exposed to that opening fanfare, it got you really excited to watch the movie that was going to play in front of you. It's that good of a fanfare.
Yep.
And for you and me, I think the first time we ever saw the 20th Century Fox fanfare was with Star Wars. When they were the original distributors.
Oh, yep.
For many of us, I think that's how we first discovered it, and it was just so exciting. And then the opening crawl of Star Wars comes up.
Yeah.
You're pumped. You just want to see what happens next. And that happened with like any 20th Century Fox film, where it's like opening fanfare. You're really excited to see the movie.
Yep.
Whether it be a comedy or whatever IP they had, and it's just wow. It really got you pumped. In the same way, the Universal Studios fanfare got you pumped. Whenever you saw a Universal movie. But the reason I bring that up is because some of the older Marvel stuff, they had the Paramount logo, Paramount Pictures in front of it. They stopped doing that around Thor the Dark World, I believed.
Somewhere around there.
And Iron Man 3, Thor the Dark World, they stopped. The Incredible Hulk had Universal Studios. The Spider-Man stuff had the Sony logo in front of it.
Yeah.
So when I first found out the 20th Century Studios logo was on there, I was like, oh, that's cool. We might get the opening fanfare. No, we didn't get that.
No.
Instead, we opened the way most of the Marvel stuff does, with its opening fanfare.
And then, speaking of going to the 20th century stuff, or whatever the sorts, we went back to the ending of Logan.
Well, before we get into that, we do hear Ryan Reynolds humming the Marvel Studios theme. And as soon as that happened, I was like, is there somebody next to me or behind me humming that? Because the way it's done, you could easily confuse that for an audience member.
Yeah, like humming, like Just the prototypical.
Yeah.
And it's like gets louder and louder. Like, wait, someone actually? Oh no, wait, it's the speakers.
Yeah, that's really good trickery right there.
Yeah.
Because you're in a big theater with all these people around you, and it's like, oh, someone's doing that next to me, and usually that'd be considered rude. But then it's like, no, wait, that's Ryan Reynolds, and I'm like, you tricked me right there. Good job.
And then he went on to talk about like, all right, oh my God, it's been such a long time with all the. With 20th Century going down, getting bought by Disney, all this.
Then there was a lawsuit and whatnot.
Yep. And then I didn't know I was going to be coming back, but they wanted me back. Out of all the people they wanted back, they chose me. I know, right? A guy that gets that shouldn't even have a movie, let alone a trilogy.
The truth is, there was a lot of negotiations behind the scenes.
Yeah, that's kind of the whole thing. But then again, we landed up in Logan's burial site.
Yep, at the very end of Logan, we see he gets buried in North Dakota, and instead of a cross, he has the X symbol on top of his grave.
Yep.
Grave.
Yeah.
And this is actually something that really bothered me. He digs up his corpse.
Well, I mean, he did warn everybody, like, because how we were supposed to give us a proper, still giving respects to Wolverine's death. We don't.
It's like, yeah, but it's like you dig up Wolverine's corpse and it's all decayed and adamantium, and it's like, have you no respect for the dead Ryan Reynolds?
Okay, but it's Deadpool, first of all, and second of all, we all know how how Wolverine, regenerative power works. He probably thought it was still active at that point. Still, he didn't think power, downgraded. He didn't think that that power effect, dropped.
Deadpool, I hate to tell you this, but death is death, and you ain't coming back from that unless you have a MacGuffin or two.
I mean, Deadpool though is immortal, and Wolverine's was in that same boat. He didn't think that that regenerative ability dropped for Wolverine. That's why he thought, oh my God, you should be alive. And still, why did you go over the thing thinking you're dead? You have regenerative abilities.
Well, it's just, the ending of Logan was so impactful.
Yeah.
Because it was supposed to be the swan song of Hugh Jackman's time as Wolverine.
Yeah.
Then you dig up his corpse, and I'm just like, I just find that really disrespectful to the ending of that movie.
Don't worry, the TVA already took care of that.
Oh, yeah. So then he has the conversation with the corpse, which was really tongue-in-cheek. In fact, I'm just going to get this out of the way right now. The whole movie was tongue-in-cheek. Which, I get it. It's Deadpool and stuff. This is his style, but...
Have you played the Deadpool video game?
I honestly want to.
I've not played it, but I did see the gameplay, and I will say this. What you saw from the video game in terms of plot style is very similar, if not the same style, to that the movie replicated. Which is, you have a story that is there, but it's just gonna be how Deadpool writes it.
Yeah,
or tells it.
Yeah, very tongue-in-cheek style. I get it. This is Deadpool. This is what he does, but it's just... For people like me who are not a huge fan of this character, this is gonna be really strange. Anyway, so the TVA comes in, which we all know who they are if you follow Marvel closely.
Yep.
So they come in, and then we get this big fight scene between Deadpool and the TVA, which, by the way, is set to a very famous late 90s, 2000s pop song.
Bye, bye, bye.
By NSYNC.
Yeah.
I'm surprised they didn't get their rivals to try and get a song in this. Which, was it the Backstreet Boys? I forget who it was.
It would probably be the Backstreet Boys. But we got the bye, bye, bye. Because they're saying bye, bye, bye to 20th Century Fox.
Oh, boy.
I mean, it's kind of true.
Well, they did have a better buy song for that, but we'll get into that later.
Yep.
Anyway, so he has a fight with the TVA, and of course, there's blood, because, again, R rating.
Yep.
The only thing, though, is that, yeah, this movie's got a lot of blood in it, but this isn't really the bloodiest movie I've ever seen.
And Ryan Reynolds, or Deadpool, did give the audience a bone anatomy 101.
Yeah, like that scene where he grabs the skull and the spine of Wolverine, he's like doing this and using it like a sword.
And prior to also doing the whole action sequence, he's like, there's about 206 bones in the human body. 207 if he's watching Girl's Anatomy.
Grey's Anatomy?
Or Grey's Anatomy. The one that his wife was in.
Oh, Blake Lively was in Grey's Anatomy.
Yeah.
I did not know that, but I've never seen that show, so I can't tell you anything.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah, but when he's like, when he has the skull and the spine, he's shaking it around and doing this. You know, honestly, don't give people who are making the Predator films any ideas, because if a Predator does that, the movie's gonna be cheesy.
Oh, what? You mean him going, oh?
Or imagine if a Predator like gets a skull and a spine like that as a trophy and then uses it against the aliens, and I'm just like, you're gonna make a cheesy AVP movie.
But no, but then we get the whole Deadpool Wolverine.
Oh, but before that, he's like using the other bones and he's like chucking it into people's like groin areas.
Or whacking people's head with the feet and then prune.
Yeah, and then some of those shots, they were shot really close with objects flying into the sky and stuff. Were really close at the camera. You know, if we had watched this in 3D, that would have been more effective.
Probably would have been too.
But the fact that we're still doing all these 3D like shots, it's like, Ryan Reynolds, we're not in the 3D craze anymore.
Yep, and then we also have a few sequences of Deadpool dancing, which is actually Nick Pauli that was doing the whole dancing sequence.
Because you told me apparently Ryan Reynolds can't dance.
It was being reported that he can't dance, and I believe Hugh Jackman stated it during an interview one time saying, yeah, Ryan can't dance.
Huh. I wonder if really that's some kind of publicity stunt where it's like, yeah, he can't dance, but he really can dance. He just chickened out and decided not to do it.
Yeah, who knows? But we got the NSYNC, one of the NSYNC crew member to dance to their song, and while wearing the Deadpool outfit.
Well, I didn't know that was him because the whole time he's wearing that costume, I seriously thought it was Ryan Reynolds.
Yep.
But now you're telling me this, and it's like, oh, that's kind of cool.
Yeah.
And then of course he like takes out the claws, and then he's like, he gets this really cool pose.
Yep.
But then it's revealed this is set later on, and the Deadpool's like, oh, we gotta backtrack a bit. Let me explain how I got to this point.
Well, right before we get through his butt. Because it was angling right to his butt.
Oh, man.
And then we backtrack all the way to...
the ending of Deadpool 2.
Yep, and him going to Earth 616, a.k.a. the Marvel Universe secret timeline with, you know, the Avengers.
And so he's like talking with Happy Hogan in what I believe is the Avengers headquarters, because we see a bunch of Avengers artifacts. One of which is an Iron Man helmet. I swear it's from Iron Man 2. I'm pretty sure it's the same one.
Well, it's 2018, so it would be prior to... I think it would be prior to Infinity War.
Yeah, somewhere around there. Which
I think it's like just right after Civil War, or maybe before Civil War, but it's definitely before Infinity War.
Somewhere around there. And he's like interviewing with Happy Hogan about he wants to join the Avengers.
Yep.
And then Happy Hogan's like, yeah, sorry about that. I don't think we can make that a reality.
Yeah, he's like, because it's one of those like very awkward interviews that we're all having. Because Deadpool's trying to still be Deadpool, but Happy Hogan's like, you're kind of flopping this. You have a good heart, I could see that. However, I don't know if you can do the whole saving the world. Shoot for the middle. Shoot for what you do best or how you want to do it. Don't try to shoot for the top. Don't shoot for the stars. Shoot for the middle.
But then Deadpool would want to brag and go, oh, I can't shoot for the stars, and I'll show ya.
Yeah, but after being shot down by the chauffeur, he's just like, oh. Then you start having midlife crisis. I know Happy Hogan is the director of security, but in terms of Deadpool, so chauffeur.
Yeah, I mean...
But anyways, after getting shot down by him, it's midlife crisis commence, which led him to become a car salesman.
Yeah, like he becomes a car salesman, and it's for a company called DriveMax.
Yeah.
Which I cannot tell if that's supposed to be a parody of a real-life car dealership or not.
Like CarMax or something like that?
CarMax?
I believe, it does kind of play out very similarly.
They could have done like a parody of Chevy, Toyota, Honda, or any other car company I know. Yeah. But then the car companies would be like, we want a royalty if you're going to do that. If you do a parody of us or you try and put us in there.
Yeah.
We'll get to that in a bit. Anyway, yeah, he becomes a used car salesman, which he's got a fine uniform, I'll admit that.
Got a fine uniform, but he needs to work on his sales pitch a little bit.
Yeah, I'm not going to repeat what he says, because Unlike some people, I have class sometimes, and it's like the words he uses with his pitch. And even he's trying to sell this car to a family, and then the mom's like, yeah, you don't need to curse while making your sales pitch.
Or like, you don't need to curse while making a comparison. I'm sorry, I just said I don't have kids. Or have the ability to do.
We're not
bleep.
We're not gonna say what it is, but as soon as he says that, and I'm like, oh gosh, oh jeez. And if I was his boss, I would have been like, so let me get this straight. You were saying some choice words during your sales pitch.
It's like to get the point across.
Wade, I really hate to tell you this, but you're fired. Because creativity can be allowed in some situations, not in this one. We need to keep a nice, friendly environment. We want to, sell our products and have people getting turned away by, not safe for work stuff.
On one hand, I almost feel like Peter is his boss.
Maybe Peter's more laid back when it comes to, handling Wade.
Yeah. Because he said something later on the film, and I feel like that almost sounds like a boss would say or something like that, or like a higher up would say to his employee or whatever.
Yeah, it's like if I was Wade's boss, I would have been like, Wade, I don't want any bad business coming my way, so I'm gonna have to let you go. Anyway, after that scene, he's like going around with Peter, and then he thinks he's getting watched. And then we see this little snippet where we see like this black and white camera shots.
Yep.
Honestly, that looked like it came out of like it came out of the. What's the genre? I know it. It looks like it came out of a government spy related movie almost when those camera shots happen.
Oh yeah, or anything of the sort. And it's like, are you being like antsy or like angry right now because it's your birthday? What? No. And then, surprise birthday party.
Yeah, he's got a surprise birthday party with returning characters from the other Deadpool movies.
Yep.
When they still get to throw out their lines and their interesting choice of words.
And also interesting choice of slangs, too.
Yeah, there was one line of dialogue where Ryan Reynolds was bringing up a bunch of political issues. And I'm like, oh, that's going to make a lot of people uncomfortable.
I mean, he already made a lot of people uncomfortable with a lot of stuff that he said. A lot of like dissing and whatnot throughout the entire film.
Yeah, but it's that line alone where he's talking with one of his friends, and he brings up all these political issues, and I'm like, Wade, we came to go watch a movie. We'll save the political stuff for Fox News and half the other stuff. We don't need that here.
Fox News, MSNBC,
CNN, everybody else.
Yeah.
It's like, I don't think we need to talk about that here. No. Save that all for later.
Yes.
But then it's revealed in this birthday scene that apparently he broke up with Vanessa.
Yep, I believe it was just during like that midlife crisis thing, during the whole thing. And also, again, the slangs, like powder donuts. Do you want to build a snowman?
I don't think we needed a Frozen reference, but there you go.
I mean... Even though he's trying to, even though he's like, is that IP infringement at one point? But at the same time, you're borderline jumping more than a few times in this.
Yeah, there were a ton of things in this where it's like the line of IP infringement. It's like, I'm surprised that some other studios and their respective filmmakers and other people did not sue anybody. Yeah. It's like, we'll get into that, but it's like, there were moments where I'm like, someone should have gotten sued for this.
Yeah, but at the same time, they're like, of course, it's Deadpool that would be doing this.
There's a lot of legal loopholes, I'm guessing.
Yeah.
But anyway, as the birthday party's going on, he eventually gets a knock at the door.
After he blew out his candles.
And it's revealed that the TVA's like, we need you to come with us, Wade. And then Wade's like, oh, yeah, just hold on. And he closes the door.
Well, because he's like assuming it was something else.
Yeah, and then eventually they tase and kidnap him, and then they take him through the portal.
Yep.
And it's revealed that he has been stapling a toupee to his head.
I mean, it already showed that right before, while he was getting dressed for sales, that he was...
Oh, yeah, it's just, I mean, it's not a wig, he has to staple it on.
Yeah.
Do you know how painful that would be?
I mean, he's Deadpool. He'll probably feel pain for like a slight second, and then it'll just be normal. He's trying to make sure that it looks like a stabilized hair instead of someone trying to rip it off.
Well, yeah, it's just, I mean, I just would have gotten a wig, no stapling. Because then we see these staples on his head, and he's got these little hair follicles coming out, and I'm like, Deadpool, are you trying to do a Jason Voorhees here? Because Jason Voorhees will sometimes have hair growing out of his bald head, or it's not there too much, and it's like, you trying to pull a Jason here?
Yeah.
I don't know.
And well, he got kidnapped. He probably soiled himself.
That.
I mean, Paradox did say that.
Yeah, so then he ends up in the TVA, and then the leader of this little TVA joint called Mr. Paradox.
I would have asked him, is your middle name or first name Time by any chance?
And in case...
You get what I'm trying to get? It went there? Time Paradox?
Time Paradox?
Yeah.
Spelled out.
Time Paradox. You know, like the whole phrase of Time Paradox?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So
I thought you were referencing a franchise.
Oh, no. I was referencing like a phrase or, like a wording and stuff like that. I was like, by any chance is your first or middle name Time? So we've been like, Time Paradox? No.
In case you ask everybody, this is not the same Paradox from Ben 10 Alien Force. Don't worry, completely different character.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yep. Anyway, so Paradox gets him to one of the rooms of the TVA, and it was like, basically gave Wade an offer. Sounds like too good to be true.
And he basically shows him footage from different parts of the MCU.
Yep.
You see Avengers Age of Ultron, the first Avengers, Endgame. I can't remember what the others were.
Yep, and then you also see clips of the TVA also taking footage from the subway. So like that black and white.
Yeah, and then Wade's like, "You've been spying on me?"
Yes, and it's like, wait, what's that? And it's Deadpool dying.
And then Thor's like really sad and stuff. And then he's like, that's from the future. You don't need to worry about that.
And it's like, why is Thor crying? Why is Thor crying? Do not worry about that right now. Although I believe it's just a little funny footage that they took from
Thor: The Dark World.
Yep, where Loki was dying, so Deadpool kind of took the spot of Loki.
Honestly, if they do this thing in the next two Avengers and they do that exact same scene and it's like, that's from the future, you don't have to worry about that. It's like, you just give away what's going to happen in the next two Avenger movies.
I would laugh, though, if it was, like, Thor looking at that, like, away from Deadpool, like, wait, who's that person? Why am I crying for him?
And then Reynolds is like, well, you're crying for me because you care about everybody, and it's like, you want to see everybody succeed, or whatever.
It had to be without Deadpool before meeting him, and then when he finally meet him, it's like, wait, are you that Deadpool guy? Are you Thor?
They might do that in the next Avengers if they bring him back.
Yeah.
But anyway, yeah, they make him an offer to like be a bigger part of a bigger universe among heroes.
Yep.
And that's where it leads to this interesting line, which before what's come out lately, I had a different context for it in mind. Where Wade's like, if I'm going to join, I'm going to be Marvel Jesus.
Oh, yeah?
The context I had for that line, and this was before what's come out as of now, is that in the next two Avengers, had they kept Kang as the villain, Reynolds as Deadpool would have been to the other Marvel characters, I'm dying for your sins, and he annihilates Kang.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, that would have been kind of interesting, but with what's come out lately, they're not going to do what I speculated.
No, but I mean, he still played the I am the Messiah. I am Marvel Jesus. And he's like, excuse me for a moment. And just walks up to the camera and just like, suck it, box. I'm going to Disneyland. Like every other, Super Bowl champions say, I'm going to, Disneyland.
Honestly, when he goes in front of the camera and he's like, suck it, Fox, I'm going to Disneyland.
Yeah.
Honestly, I don't know if The Simpsons did that. But if The Simpsons had done that, I would have liked that. I would have liked that, kind of.
No, I think the only thing they did was the commercial for when they joined Disney, when it's like, put on the mouse hat, or put on the ears, and we're gonna do it,
Or maybe you could have had all the IPs of 20th Century Fox do that to the camera, Alien, Predator, Planet of the Apes, Ice Age, just all the others I can think of.
Yeah,
But it's like, be careful what you wish for, guys.
And then we have the sequence of Deadpool putting on an upgraded suit.
Oh, this scene. I gotta talk about this scene.
There's two swords, baby sword, guns, Hans, got the suit on and everything, while also the guy grabbing a whole bunch of stuff.
Yeah, he's slapping Deadpool in the butt, and he's grabbing his groin area, and I'm like, oh. And I'm like,
And then of course we have the last little squish, like a little squishy doll thing right there. Like
it's like they were channeling Joel Schumacher almost, because when Joel Schumacher did his 2 Batman movies, he had these like close-up shots of the asses of Batman and Robin.
Yeah.
He did this, and it's like, you're seriously doing what Joel Schumacher did in his 2 Batman movies, where they had that suit-up sequence, and they're filming close-ups of like their groin areas and their chest areas and their butts, and it's like, you're seriously doing this.
Yeah.
It's like, I don't think we want to go back to that era of superhero filmmaking, but oh well.
It's like, I think HR need to get some paperwork on that guy, but in the meantime, now he needs to do his business and say, all right, now I need to go back to my world, and they have to make sure to tell my friends that they've been upgraded to disciples. It's like, you probably didn't hear me clearly or misunderstood, but your world, your timeline is dying.
And then Wade's like, wait, what?
You guys lost an anchor being.
And actually, when he shows how messy the timeline is with the different threads and stuff.
Well, that was like the whole multiverse type of thing, while having his particular, timeline still straight.
I actually saw that as a reference to how messy the X-Men films got with their continuity.
Yeah.
It's got to be a reference to that.
Maybe, probably, but also at the same time, it's still probably more of a reference to the Loki one, because you have the sacred timeline and everything else kind of like sporadically kind of going like this.
Well, because the focus was on Deadpool and X-Men, I just saw it like that.
Yeah, but meanwhile, you see basically the 20th century timeline dying. Or like going backward, kind of like the worst nightmare scenario of every computer user ever, when the download sequence goes backwards. If there's ever was a chance of that, I don't think that actually happened.
I think it's more like the download or upload sequence freezes and you don't know how to fix it.
Freezes, or if for some reason it just goes backwards. Whenever in the Fairly Odd Parents one episode, where Crocker thought he got the download sequence complete, but then all of a sudden went backwards.
I don't remember that episode.
I remember that one. That was kind of funny. And it's like, oh god, if that actually happened to anybody in IRL in terms of like stopping and then going backwards, like 99%, and all of a sudden just goes back down to like 90 and then back all the way down to 0. I'm like, ooh, that would be bad.
I know what you're talking about. We'll get to that later. But I do know what it's like when your upload or the bar freezes completely.
Yeah.
I know how scary that is.
Yeah, no, because you're like, no. But anyways, back to the movie. It was going down, and it's like, you guys, your timeline lost an anchor being. Deadpool's like, oh well, I'm not dead yet. I just had a midlife crisis.
And then he's like, you're not the anchor point.
No, it is Logan. And that is the anchor being. And then that's what they pull up Logan from the death scene.
Yeah, of Logan. And I'm like, I feel like they were playing that for laughs, because that scene was highly impactful in the original Logan. But when they present it here, the impact just isn't present.
It was there. Everyone was crying in that room, or showed sad face.
Well, it's just the tone of this movie.
Except for Wade. Wade was the only one that was like, come on, him? Why does it have to be him?
Because he's awesome.
Yeah.
And then it escalates, and he has to get out of there.
It escalated because he kind of figured out at some point that Paradise is basically want to do what the old TVA used to do and just prune it completely. Prune it quick.
Yeah.
And Wade is like, you're gonna yeller my universe? Technically, yes. And it's like, no thank you. Punch him in the nose, He grabs the control device, and then it looks like he's gonna land on this one TVA guy, and his reaction to him landing on Deadpool was kind of weird. I mean, he looked like he was about to enjoy it. He's about to have the best time of his life, and then teleports out of there. And then we get back to the scene where, he annihilates the TVA around Logan's grave. Yep, and he uses the Wolverine claw. He's like, I'm sorry, Wolverine's hard. He's like jamming the claws. He's jamming the claws. One person's butt and another person's, private area balls. It's like, crap. That scene was really painful to watch. Well, yeah, for us guys, because imagine having your balls get clawed at by Wolverines, or you get something jammed up your rectum. And of course the final dude's like, oh my god, he's sick. You disgraced Wolverine and the best thing that came out of Canada. It's like Deadpool, like,
whoa, hold on there. You're telling me Wolverine's the best thing that came out of Canada? And look, I get it. He's from Canada,
yeah.
but I can tell you a few good things that came out of Canada. Well, actually, there were some good things that came out of Canada, but I'm not going to dwell on that.
More than a few things. Maple syrup is the other one.
What's that?
Maple syrup is another one.
There's that.
Yeah, but still, when Deadpool's like, he just bounces the sword and lands in the guy's like mouth, perfectly in line.
I'm not going to explain the physics of that, but there you go.
just figure out some sort of like, whatever silly physics that somehow lands it perfectly, and Deadpool's like, get my country's name out of your mouth. And also my sword.
And also, when he says that line, I'm like, Ryan Reynolds, you're not Canadian, you're American. So it's like, if an actual Canadian said that line, that would have worked better, but you're not Canadian, Ryan.
And then it's like, alright, time to go find a Wolverine that's alive. And then cue the montage.
This was, kind of an interesting little moment, this little montage, because the first Wolverine variant he goes to is short.
It's the classic Wolverine, which is actually the classic, the original, comic book classic, which is what he said.
The only way that scene could have worked is if they had gotten Danny DeVito to play a Wolverine variant, because I think I've heard a joke or two about Danny DeVito playing Wolverine.
Oh God, no!
If they had done that, the scene would have worked better.
It's like, oh my God! It's like, oh, you tiny little thing, you tiny little comic, accurate. Little guy. All right, time to go finding some other one. Cue the montage, and that's when we see the other comic variants of Wolverine.
Yeah, and other different types throughout the multiverse. The second one we see, he's got a stylish outfit. I can't remember if that's a reference to a show or a comic.
I think all three that we saw, for the most part, are all comic book related. The one-handed one came from like the one comic book or something like that. I forgot which one was called. I think I've heard that the one that he was sitting out in the cabin, I think it was like the Old Hound or something like that, or the
Old Man Logan.
Old Man Logan.
That looked more, but he looked more like Clint Eastwood in that scene.
Yeah, I think that's supposed to be like Old Man Logan or something like that from that comic book. And then we also have the one where he kind of was like crucified on the X.
Oh, that honestly, that has to be a reference to a comic. That has to be.
That is.
Because it's like, you got all these bloody skulls everywhere, and then he's crucified on an X like this.
Yep.
And it's like, ah!
Yep, that is a reference to a comic. That is definitely is. And I think some other character saves him from that cross. I forgot which comic book it was, but yes, it is reference to a comic book. And then we have the Wolverine, which is the one he faces the Hulk.
Okay, this is another scene I need to talk about, because this was actually one of the disappointing scenes of the movie.
Really?
When I first heard the Hulk was in this movie, I'm like, okay, we're going to see Wolverine fight the Hulk. No, there's no actual battle.
No, the only thing we get to see is kind of like, almost like the ending of, Hulk versus Wolverine. Like that Shing, or the comic book kind of like art style.
If it was...
there, which is kind of like here with the claws, and then you see the Hulk through, through the reflection.
If it was going to be a reference to Hulk versus Wolverine, well, they didn't get it accurate, because Wolverine, he was like completely shirtless in that scene. It was snowing, and the Hulk and him had gotten out of the blown up base.
Yeah, that's true. But I think it was like a comic book type of thing. Although I think it might have referenced both at the same time. Who knows? But it does land in the forest, so we gotta keep that in mind. It was in the forest. And he does kind of go like this, almost like a where were we, even though he didn't really say it, but it was kind of like a shing, and then the Hulk was right there in front of him.
Yeah, and this is the Mark Ruffalo Hulk, in case anybody's asking. It's the Mark Ruffalo Hulk.
Yeah.
Because I heard a rumor that Eric Bana's Hulk would have shown up in this, but Eric Bana turned it down and said, even though I'm friends with Hugh Jackman, I'm not coming back to play the Hulk.
Yeah. And then, of course, we have the one reference line to the first Avenger, which is even though it's not completely what this person said, but Deadpool kind of said it like this way: "I'm Marvel Jesus, you dull creature, and I will not be." You know how Loki's like, "I am a god."
That was...
that is a reference to that line.
Interesting. Yeah, and then we, of course, saw the Henry Cavill cameo with Wolverine.
Yep.
And then, well, he gets punched back.
Yeah, no, and that was the one. Henry Cavill, it's like, So could we? Is this the MCU's the 616 version of Wolverine? You're just leaving. No. Because Deadpool was gonna be like, oh no, you're perfect. We will treat you better than the frickers down the street.
And through all the montage, eventually he does find a variant. Who's Hugh Jackman,
and is alive.
Only in this time, and only he's just trying to enjoy his time at the bar, and he's like, I don't really want to do it, bub.
Or just trying to live out his days, you could say, at the bar or at any bar.
Oh, definitely. And then Deadpool's like, well, look, you gotta come with me, man. This is gonna be a little hard to explain, but I need you to come with me.
He's like, no, thank you. I do not want to join you or your little girl, whatever thing that you're doing.
But then eventually, I think he passes out from being drunk.
Well, because, Deadpool had the gun in his face and is like, that's a good one. Hold up, though. I'll help you out here. All right. I'm going to pass out now.
And then he, falls to the ground, and then Deadpool's like, oh, your jammies. What are your jammies?
It's about 20 flippin' years.
In case anybody knows what that is, well, you get to see Hugh Jackman wear the original Wolverine costume this time.
Yep, this time around. And then, of course, Paradox is like, you grab literally the worst Wolverine. Now, I wouldn't accept any other one, even though all the other ones would have probably been a little bit better, but you literally grabbed the worst one. What do you mean? He literally did unforgettable things in his world. And it's like, we only get bits by bit as the movie goes along.
Yeah, just a little bit by bits, and it's gonna be kind of interesting to talk about because this goes completely against the speculation that I had personally in mind for this.
And probably how some people had in mind too, probably.
Which was another disappointing thing for me, is this went against what they revealed about Wolverine in his universe. It went completely against my speculation, and I actually kind of felt betrayed by it. But before we get into that, just need to check something quick, and there's one other thing I need to bring up too.
Are you going to talk about how Deadpool went Karen on them?
Well, actually, it's when you mention of all the Wolverine variants, you bring out the worst one.
Yeah.
I don't know if they had thought of this, but I know there was fan art of this. Someone did fan art of Daniel Radcliffe as Wolverine. If they had brought him in as a variant, that would have gotten Harry Potter fans screaming in the theater. That literally would have.
Oh god.
Because I heard a rumor that they might, or a fan art or something, that Daniel Radcliffe could be the next Wolverine. And I'm like, had they gone that route, that would have been kind of interesting.
That would have been a little bit funny.
Yeah.
But anyway, back to the whole thing. And then that's when Deadpool's like, I am not going to allow my universe to get blown up here. Oh, by the way, welcome to the MCU. You kind of arrive at a low point here for them. Anyways,
which I know what he's talking about with low point. Basically, they're in a mess right now. They're trying to figure things out.
Since Endgame.
Yeah, and there's the situation with Kang, and then the Marvels flopped, and then TV shows aren't winning over anybody.
And it's like a hit or miss because the whole multiverse thing has kind of been a bubble jumble thing that the MCU's trying to figure out.
Yeah.
And anyways, it gets to the point where Deadpool's like, I am going to go up to your manager and talk about this thing. And then everyone's like, and I was like, oh, I deserve sympathy of every single butt cheeks clenching. You're off grid, aren't you? Well, you know what? I have a black belt in Karenhood, and I'm gonna go up to your manager and then prune.
Yeah, he gets zapped out because he's like, I can't take that guy.
Yeah, it's more like, oh my god, it's quiet. Where did he go? He went to the junkyard, where you'll be going to in about a few seconds here.
And then he gets pinged, and I'm like, well, that was easy.
I mean, like I said, it was easy when you have a prune device.
Yeah, it's like you think you could have put up a fight, just a little, and then through the struggle they prune him.
Yeah.
But then they prune him like that. It's like, well, that was easy.
Well, he was like, oh, that was a close one.
You might as well have had a big turret attached to the ceiling and pruned him.
And then we get the split second of a comic book that's laying right besides Deadpool, which is a hint at the Secret Wars, or it's a Secret War comic.
Yeah, you pointed that out to me, and I did catch that. And it's
Yep.
like, I know, Marvel, Secret Wars is coming. Let's kind of focus on this, and then we'll do that.
Yep. And we get to the whole one of the scenes from the trailers like, don't you just stand there, you eight, help me out.
And then he gets his claws out, and then they're like stabbing each other.
And it's, well, no, at first it was like, where are we? I don't know. It looks like a Mad Max. Although that could be IP infringement.
Oh gosh, I need to get into that actually.
And then he paid him. And it's like,
Yeah.
now that's IP infringement. You just paid him.
Yeah, like Wolverine picks him up and then, oh, the Bane backbreaker. Which, by the way, they could have gotten Tom Hardy to play a Wolverine variant.
Yes.
And then he could have done that.
Yeah.
But I guess they didn't think of it.
Well, you also got the fact that Tom Hardy's Venom, so... Besides the point.
Yeah, but it's like he's Venom in one universe, he's Bane in another universe, and then he's probably Wolverine in another universe.
Who knows? Anyways, continuing on with the point though, then we get them arguing with each other.
Yeah, and then like I think at one point Deadpool shoots Wolverine in the kidneys.
Yeah, it's like, are you gonna calm down now? Nope. Boom. Toss him to the side. He tosses him through a car door or one of wreckage, and then or a wall, whatever, and lands on a buried 20th Century Fox logo.
Yeah, which I'm like, that's the way you want us to remember 20th Century Fox, a forgotten studio, abandoned in the wasteland.
Or pruned.
Oh jeez.
And then it's like the battle sequence, round one.
Yeah, and as soon as this bell toll happens, I'm like, are they going to play Metallica's For Whom the Bell Tolls?
Nope.
But no, it was AC/DC's Hell's Bells.
Yep.
Which AC/DC is an Iron Man thing, really. It's
Yep.
like...
And they had a round one battle that looked climactic, but it's really anticlimactic if you know the characters.
Yeah, because they can't die, they're immortal.
Yeah. So it's like you're having two immortals fighting in the void. None of them, they're not gonna die. They're just gonna see which stab wound is the worst.
Yeah, and as they're fighting and stuff, well, eventually that reaches its end, because then we have some characters show up.
But before that, Deadpool made an educated wish to Wolverine, like, look, man, look, I promise you, we can go back to, we'll figure a way back to the TVA, and then we can help you fix your universe. And then that's when the whole cameo came in. It's like what sounds like, well, it's Chris Evans, but
Yeah, Chris Evans,
but Deadpool and probably maybe a few people thought it was like a variant of Captain America.
But this is not a variant of Captain America. It's another character that Chris Evans played years back.
Yeah, a while back, but before that gets revealed, and it's like they're coming. Who they? And it's just like people driving in a very replica Mad Max.
Yeah, and there was one shot where I'm like, this seriously looks like it was taken out of Fury Road.
Yep.
And I'm like, how does George Miller not get on the phone and get his lawyers on the line and say, hey, mate, I don't want you ripping off Mad Max.
And then
I don't want you doing that. And I want some money for Mad Max 5. I mean, that shot where the cars are driving through the wasteland, it seriously looked like it came out of Fury Road.
And then
how does George Miller not sue for that?
then they circle around, and then that's when we see Pyro, one of the mutants.
Oh, yeah.
The fire mutant.
Yeah, and actually the actor said he was happy to play a version of Pyro that had a comic-accurate suit.
Yeah, definitely. And then that's when we get... and then we eventually got the reveal of what Chris Evans replayed as, and that is
Flame On! The Human Torch from the Fantastic Four!
Yep.
Which, wow, it's like, imagine if this version of the Human Torch meets up with the Chris Evans Captain America, and he's like, wait, you look like me.
Hey, you look like me.
They've made jokes about that.
Yeah.
The Lego Marvel game made a joke about that as one of the achievements, and it's like, they seriously could do that.
Yeah.
But it's like, well, that's not going to happen.
Yeah, it's
but,
what?
yeah, it was kind of interesting, but I will admit, the visual effects on the Human Torch, I'm not going to say this, they looked fake.
Well, it's still kind of funny when he tried to attack Pyro, and Pyro's like, You know, I'm also flame ability too, you know.
That would have been kind of an interesting fight, but no, we didn't get that.
Yeah, I know, but it's like one fire against another fire. I mean, it's kind of like with Pokemon, fire against fire. It's not going to work, bud.
Yeah, I mean, it just would have been kind of an interesting fight. And then maybe during the fight, they start a firestorm. And it's going to annihilate everybody. Yeah. And then they have to calm it down saying, stop, stop, stop. You'll overheat. You'll get to like the temperature of the sun and you'll annihilate everybody. And then the Human Torch remembers, oh, yeah. That scene where I'm going too hotter in Fantastic Four. I got to calm down or I'll get to the temperature of the sun and annihilate everybody.
Yeah, I know. But instead, they just drain out his ability at the time and then just, oh, fuck. We don't know the guy. Oh, we thought we did. And then that's when we see... Saber, I think.
Yeah, it's the original actor that played Sabretooth from the first X-Men movie.
Well, I know you. And it's like, Sabretooth, your brother. Let's do this.
Yeah, and then...
Right? Time! You look ridiculous.
Oh, yeah, with all the stabbing and stuff.
It's like, come on, man. People have been waiting a long time for this, man. Shut up, bleep pop. Oh,
have people been waiting that long? We fought in X-Men Origins Wolverine.
But they've been waiting for 20 years for this, alright? So we gotta make you look good, and also we gotta make this fight look interesting. So no killing him right away. Hey, so we just gotta get a few punches in, claw him a few times, and then we get shut up.
Yeah, he's like telling him to shut up because Deadpool talks so much, which I get it.
He's like, oh my god. Alright, good luck there. I'm rooting for you.
And then, of course, they start running towards each other, and then you hear a slice, and then Sabretooth's head falls off. As soon as that happened, I'm like, that's anticlimactic.
Yep, and then, of course, behold, I am your queen, Furiosa.
Yeah.
Another.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure George Miller is not happy about this, guys. He's not happy that you're ripping off Mad Max.
I'm sorry, I know it's a him. It's like, I'm gender blind.
Oh, jeez.
Who's next? I know. He targets so much, dissing at everybody. Everybody's a target.
Yeah, and then we, of course, see Toad's a part of this caravan.
Yeah, but it's like, you're up, magnetic. So Deadpool and Wolverine gets pulled in. Then they just get knocked up by the giant leg.
Yeah.
And then it's like...
Then they're in a ball cage with Chris Evans' Human Torch.
Then we see like the one creature from the Loki show.
Oh yeah, the big cloud monster.
Well, that, but also the little small ones too. The little bird-like things, or the little one that had the little ball in the middle.
I missed those completely.
Yeah, I think it was from that exact same episode. But anyways, continuing on, we get going, and that's when Johnny was like, we gotta go, it's either that or we have to face, get eaten by Alaya. Oh, you mean that giant storm cloud from Loki season 1, episode 5? It's like, very specific, for those people in the crowd that's like trying to reference, specify episode, helps you guys out.
I mean, I can do that too.
But he already did it for you, though.
Yeah. But the way they characterize Human Torch in this, it's like, this is not the Human Torch I remember from those 2 Fantastic Four movies.
I mean, probably the first one, though, because Johnny in that one did.
I know.
Did have an attitude.
I know, but it's like, I don't think this is the same one from that universe. This could be a different variant. Because he's acting differently, and he's acting really goofier than he did the first couple times.
Yeah, like he still had an attitude, so it fits into that 2000, at least the first Fantastic Four.
He does name drop Reed Richards during a conversation he has with the characters, and I'm like, did they ever at any point think about bringing back the original Fantastic Four cast for this?
Yeah.
And it's like, maybe there was a mention, but then it broke down completely. I don't know if they ever considered that idea.
Yeah. And then we finally get to
a corpse of Ant-Man.
Yep.
In giant form.
Which is like, oh, he's aging. He finally is aging.
Yeah, he says Paul Rudd is finally aging, and I'm like, what?
Because the joke was that he doesn't age, even though he gets older. He just doesn't age.
I think that joke would apply more to Tom Cruise.
That too, but Paul also fits under that buckle.
I mean, yeah. It's just, it's just. Well, he did look a little older in Ant-Man 3, maybe, but it's like, I think that joke would apply more to Tom Cruise.
Probably, but again, Paul fits into that, though. There's few people. There's a decent amount of people that fits under that buckle.
Yeah, it's just.
And that applies to the joke that Paul fits under that as well.
Yeah, there were a few moments actually, the way they shot the camp of these characters and their camp inside the dead Ant-Man corpse. It kind of looked like Mad Max: The Road Warrior in a few shots.
A little bit, and it's like, oh, this year's Juggernaut.
Oh yeah, we see Juggernaut, but it's not the same actor; it's somebody else.
Yeah, I know, and that's what Deadpool is kind of referencing. Oh, you're this version's Juggernaut. Shut up.
And we also see Psylocke amongst the group. I know I saw Psylocke in there.
And then we also see that devil or
Azazel. Yeah, we see him too.
See him. Yep. And it's like, and then Juggernaut, or this version of Juggernaut's like, she doesn't like blabbermouths. Oh, she'll enjoy you.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting because this villain that they're helping. It's kind of interesting that Juggernaut says she doesn't like blabbermouths, and yet she puts up with him for much of the movie.
Yeah.
She could easily end him right there. But
Probably.
it's like, or get annoyed that easily. But no.
And she came, first kind of like, wheels on out there like Charles Xavier, and they're like, Charles, Chuck, that's not Chuck. And then she stands up. Oh my God! Now the whole crowd's gonna get mad.
Yeah, that was kind of interesting to hear that. But what it's revealed, this person is Cassandra Nova.
Yep, the sister, the twin sister of Charles Xavier, who apparently strangled her to death.
Strangled her to death by the umbilical cord.
Yep.
Honestly, I think
in most universes, yeah.
I think they're referencing The Unborn via that line of dialogue.
Probably.
Because there's this horror movie called The Unborn where the main character's twin died because he was choked by the umbilical cord.
Yeah.
And it's like, are you seriously referencing The Unborn in Deadpool 3? Like, why are we referencing The Unborn? I don't get that.
I don't know, but anyways, so that was that one. Although she's probably the one that survived or got out of there with him, and or at least probably beat him out of that whole, I guess, fight or whatever. Anyways, so she survives but gets pruned because it's like you're more of a danger to her though. Get over here. Or get into the void, and then she kind of grew up in the void and became powerful.
Yeah.
Or became you could say the bad guy version of Charles Xavier. You could say because she basically had very similar abilities.
Yeah, she had similar abilities, but they're more like kind of body horror-ish, which I'll get into in a little bit.
Yep. And of course, right as she freed both Wolverine and Deadpool from chains, and then it's like, I've been trying to catch you, Johnny, though. And then Deadpool went like, oh my God, all the things that he said about you. Shut up.
I didn't say any of that. I didn't say any of that.
God. It's like, oh my God, but you did. You told me that she was nothing more than a blippity boppity, all that things he said, and you would love nothing more than to scorch her up into bits and pieces, and that she was a maniacal, evil, ruling, whatever.
I'm pretty sure Deadpool was lying because I don't remember him saying any of that.
Are you kidding me? I mean, he basically threw the challenge flag, and we got the review at the end. Well, we'll get to that challenge review later.
Oh yeah. Yeah, and then Johnny's trying to deny it all. He's like, I didn't do it.
But then she kind of just...
Yeah, like takes all his skin off, and then you see bone and muscle and tissue.
And blood. And just kind of just all mushed up.
Yeah, and then you see blinking eyes, and then I'm like, I don't know if I'm a biology expert, but I don't know if that would work.
I mean, on one hand, she has abilities that could defy physics, so that could work.
Yeah, and actually, the CGI on the muscle tissue bone Johnny Storm, it reminded me of the CGI. There's this scene in the original Tobey Maguire Spider-Man where Green Goblin, he's like, out am I? And he throws a bomb, and you see the bomb, and it kills the executives of Oscorp, and you see those badly animated skeletons. Oh, yeah? It looks like that, almost.
Yeah. And then, of course, like, oh my God, I did not expect that to happen. Oh, Jesus Christ, you killed him. We were all mourning here for his death, all right?
I mean, it's like, yeesh, that's gory.
Yeah.
Maybe not overly gory, but it is gory.
Yep, and then Wolverine tries to attack her, but that failed and gets dragged to the ground. And then Deadpool's like, I do not want the smoke. I do not want the smoke. I just want to save my world. And it's like, you're not the saving the world type of thing. Or it's like, and it's like, oh, don't worry, I'm not gonna attack you. Oh, thank God, I'm just gonna get inside your thoughts. Oh no!
And of course she does, and you see like she puts her fingers inside anybody's like skull or face, and you see them wriggling around.
Imagine like a poorly graphified, or in a game, if you play that or whatever, of a hand going through a head, basically, and how weird and how disgusting it would look if it actually is rendered, everything else like that. Imagine that with this scene, or the few times that she does this.
Yeah, and
it's like, oh, yeesh.
And then like she like goes through his thoughts and kind of sees the breakup that happened between Deadpool and Vanessa.
Yeah, because the peak of his midlife crisis, and then she kind of toys with it a little bit. But because this is Deadpool and all the abilities that he had, he kind of has somewhat of a slight resistance to that sort of ability, which eventually makes him go, wait a minute, she didn't say that.
Oh, but she was thinking about it.
No, it's more like, I bet she thought it.
Yeah, she did it in that sing-songy voice.
It's like, you are so rude, and I can taste your finger, and they taste like awful or rudeness, or no, it was hateful.
Yeah.
And it's like, this is baby knife. You're gonna need more than baby knife. Hey, though. How about 6?
Yeah, and then he like stabs her.
Wolverine stabs her. It's like throws the baby knife right to the heart area. Like, oh my God, who's a good boy? Who's a good boy? And then she fakes like she's about to die, and then of course then laughs and just bloop.
Yeah, she doesn't die. Although really, that would kill somebody if you get him in the right organ.
Yep. But she probably did something that probably, made it look like, oh my God, I'm just kidding. And it's like, oh, and here comes the monster, which is coming for rent, and the rent is you guys.
Yeah, and then the monster, of course, is getting closer and closer. And then
Wolverine gets the leg and it's like, gets it going. Are you coming or what? Coming!
Yeah, they get a jetpack and they fly out of there.
Yep.
And then eventually they like crash somewhere in like a grassy area.
Yep. Then they formulate a plan to try to get back, even though it's kind of like a bad one. And it's like, oh, I smell quest. I smell food. And then they get to like a local diner.
Which is abandoned and pretty worn down, actually.
Yep.
And then I think he drinks rubbing alcohol because he was looking for a drink.
Yep. Because there was nothing left, if not empty bottles. So rubbing alcohol was like the only thing available. Like, no, wait, no. Oh, okay, just destroy that liver. We'll find it.
There's a reason you're not supposed to drink rubbing alcohol.
Yep.
But I don't think they had actual rubbing alcohol on set. But obviously it was a prop.
Probably a prop of like maybe some water or whatever, which
Don't drink rubbing alcohol, guys. They have a warning label on it that says what it does to you, so don't do that.
Yeah. Although this is Wolverine, I mean, he'll probably be fine.
That would be interesting. Like, a mutant drinks rubbing alcohol. What kind of effect does that have on them? Is it like humans or is it different?
Who knows? But anyways, though, and they're talking about it. It's like, so we want to talk about what's troubling you, or should we save this for the third act? And it's like, no.
Yeah, they have their little conversation and stuff.
Yep.
But then they eventually leave the diner, and then as they're going along, they see something on the horizon.
Dogpool!
Yep, there is a variant of Deadpool that is a dog.
Yep, but then he was getting chased, or someone was trying to catch up to him, and that was Nice Pool.
Oh, yeah, and he had this hairstyle that almost kind of made him look like Tarzan almost.
You know what kind of reminded me, though, of? Remember Nicolas Cage in that one movie that had, like, the long hair or something like that?
Oh, he had the long hair when he was going to be Superman.
Oh, yeah, and he was kind of like, oh, yes.
I don't remember which Nick Cage film that was.
But it reminded me of that one, like, that very look. Like, I was like, are you trying to replicate Nicolas Cage with that hairstyle?
Honestly, it looked more like a Tarzan hairstyle to me.
To me, it looked like Nicolas Cage.
Yeah.
Anyways, though, they're like, and it's like, oh my God, sorry there, mate. it's like, oh, there's he. And it's like, there's that Canadian. Sorry, mate.
Yeah, and so basically, they meet Dogpool and they meet Nice Pool.
Yep. And he talks about the other Deadpool variants that are vicious.
Yeah. And then eventually, well, it's like, oh, we got to get moving. You got something to help us out with?
To get us to the Borderland? Oh, yeah, the Borderland. That's just 12 clicks that way. I can get you a ride though. Don't worry, I can help you out there. And it's a Honda Odyssey.
You know, I wouldn't be surprised if Honda was secretly promoting one of their vehicles in this.
It'll be initially a poor one though, because Deadpool's like, you gotta be freaking kidding me! Just get in the car. No. Do you know what this Odyssey? He's like, you talk about how bad the car was.
I imagine he would have flipped out even further if it was a Prius.
Probably.
If it was a Prius, he would have flipped out even further.
Just get in the car. And then it's like that he was about to try to run away with Dogpool, but he couldn't because the weeds were too dense.
Yeah. Eventually they get out of there and they're just kind of, you know, driving around.
Into one of the, I think probably like a 2000 classic with the...
It sounded like Avril Lavigne.
Probably was, maybe, with that one. I'm not too sure which one.
Yeah, I need to look up the soundtrack because it seriously sounded like Avril Lavigne.
Yeah.
And don't get me wrong, Avril Lavigne's got a really good singing voice. It's just...
Yep.
I swear, if that was Avril Lavigne, it has to be.
Yep. Anyways, and then while the ride, then Deadpool was trying to talk about, like, the outfit, which Wolverine refused to answer initially at the time. And then Deadpool kind of goes, pew, pew, Spider-Man, pew, 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 pew.
Yeah, it kind of reminded me of that scene in Shrek 2 where Donkey's, like, going... And then Shrek's like, "Arr, Donkey!"
Yeah, I know. And then it's like, stop it. And then it's like... And then Deadpool kind of, like, meanderly was like, okay, if we're able to get back to the... TVA, you know, when we get back, you know, how would you, what would you do when you get back to your universe? Wait, what was it you said? When you get back to your universe? No. Before that.
Oh.
If we
get back, well, there was the educated wish.
And I was like, if we.
But actually,
why'd you say if? He was like, you lied to me. I didn't. It's like, no, it was an educated wish. All right, you see this?
Yeah, and then it led to this argument scene, which, honestly, the way this scene was shot, it kind of reminded me of the little argument scene Logan was having with X-23 and Logan when they're in the car and they're arguing about getting to North Dakota.
Oh, yeah?
It reminded me of that, and it's like they wanted to do the scene again, but with Deadpool.
Yeah.
And it's got the same tone, the same angry vibes. It's the same scene.
Yeah, but like I said, this is more towards Deadpool, so he's like, I have lived for 200 years, and I never met anything more sadder, more hungry, you know, more like attention hunger, you know, hungry.
Yeah, it's kind of like those scenes in comedies where a character is angry at another character, and they go for like a very long period of time, and then eventually when they stop making their speech, the other character then starts talking. It's like that.
Yeah, I know, because they made that whole argumentative speech, and then Deadpool goes, I'm gonna fight you. Oh, you're gonna fight.
And then, of course, they have their little fight in the car.
Round 2. Fight.
Yeah, they have this little fight in the car, and they're breaking windows, and it's all bloodied and stuff.
And since they're mostly in the car, Deadpool had to get rid of his swords for a quick moment and go with baby knife and other knife or little dagger or whatever to fight Wolverine.
Yeah, that little dagger, it's like, do you play Assassin's Creed, Deadpool?
Yeah, or any other, like, how much have you been practicing, like, close quarter combat? Yeah, so they kept fighting in the car, breaking everything. Also, multiple music played, even the first one being from The Greatest Show. The Hugh Jackman.
Oh yeah, Greatest Showman, which I never saw.
Yeah.
I never saw, so I never got that reference.
And that was played for like a split second though, because you know Wolverine kept hitting Deadpool's head on the radio, which kept changing music until the last one, which played out for the entire round 2 fight.
Yeah, and actually, considering how bloody they make the entire van look, it's like you guys really want this to look like a Jason Voorhees murder scene, don't you?
That or a very aggressive doing it in the car. Because I mean, they eventually kind of shook the car, and you know,
they focused this shot on like this coexistence bumper sticker, which I have seen, and it's like, is there some kind of symbolism here I should know about?
Well, I mean, coexist. You guys are supposed to be cooperating with each other as they're brutally stabbing each other, and blood just kind of circle around it.
Maybe that's what the symbolism is, but I can just imagine Film Brain. I can imagine Film Brain, a reviewer I follow, going, symbolism! I could seriously see him doing that.
And then that's when we get to see a mysterious person, which we later figure out that it was X-23.
Oh,
Drive the car back to a hideout, which is later have the basically 4 cameos. Cameos.
Yeah, I need to get into this. So yeah, we see X-23, same actress from Logan.
Yep, just
she's
older.
All grown up now.
Yep.
And she's talking full English.
Yep, but this time also too, but she came out last for this initial cameo before the 3 other ones. First one being
was Jennifer Garner's Elektra, which
Yep.
they did confirm before this came out. So that was kind of interesting.
Yep, and this is the Elektra from the Ben Affleck Daredevil.
And also her own spinoff.
Yep.
And then we see Wesley Snipes' Blade come in, which...
Yep, that was the second one. That was the big one. That was like, oh, whoa.
Yeah, it's like... I know...
Because the first one was like, oh, okay, you're back. And then when Blade comes, like, wait, you?
Yeah, it's like, because Wesley Snipes' Blade, that wasn't 20th Century Fox, that was New Line Cinema.
Yeah.
So it's like, okay, now we're kind of bringing in characters from New Line Cinema.
That one, yep. And I mean, technically, Ryan Reynolds did work with them. And
Yeah, and Blade Trinity.
Yep. Which that was like the worst one out of that whole.
Yeah, it was the worst one of the trilogy, only because David S. Goyer wrote and directed it.
Yep.
And so then the third cameo is Channing Tatum as Gambit.
Which was referenced in basically to 2014 when people thought that, where he wanted to do Gambit. And
Yeah, there was going to be a Gambit movie with Channing Tatum in the role. It never got made due to, I believe, development issues.
Yep. And I think that was also, again, that was reported back in 2014, I believe.
Yeah, and Channing Tatum was not the first actor to play Gambit.
Yeah.
That was Taylor Kitsch in X-Men Origins Wolverine.
Yeah.
But we all know how his career turned out, so it's, they got Channing Tatum in his unmade Gambit movie.
Going back to Trinity a little bit, they did reference that a little bit, at least on the, on the set issue.
I didn't catch that. So
that was the, when Ryan Reynolds or Deadpool was like, oh, I thought you would be retired. Retarded? Retired.
I don't think he said that.
Retire. I'm in the void here. I'm not trying to get canceled. I do not like you. You never did.
Oh wait, yeah, he says retired, but it sounded like Wesley Snipes, like he was kind of slurring.
Yep.
Retired. It sounded like he was drunk.
Yeah.
Almost. But you're saying, but it's another R word, and then Deadpool's like, I don't want to get canceled. Well, it's like you said the word.
It's like retired. Not the R word, not the yeah.
I get what they're going for here with Wesley Snipes and retired, but also because he had some tax problems too.
Yeah, no, but again, it's like I do not like you. You never did, because that was the onset issue.
Okay. And yeah, eventually down the road with these other characters, they do mention there were other members. There was the Punisher.
Yep.
Which, that wasn't 20th Century Fox, that was different studio, Lionsgate.
Yep. But they did mention Magneto.
They mentioned Magneto, and
that was because of the helmet thing.
Yeah, we'll say
they're like, oh, is Magneto with you? It's like, oh, is Magneto? Nope, he's dead. Ah, crap.
I'm guessing.
The one time that Disney decided to go cheap.
I'm guessing they couldn't get Ian McKellen back, or maybe he didn't want to do it.
Yeah. The one time they go cheap, it's like a Pinocchio was up, his nose was right up my butt and started lying.
Yeah, but they do mention the Punisher. They mentioned Quicksilver.
They also mentioned Daredevil, which then probably more reference to Ben Affleck one because Deadpool went, oh my god, I'm so sorry.
They basically say he was killed off, and
yeah.
I'm like, okay, maybe they did offer Ben Affleck a chance to be in this movie, but he was like, yeah, I'm turning it down.
Yeah.
Sorry, guys, I think my time being Batman may have been a negative experience for me.
Yeah, but I was like, oh my god, so sorry. It's fine. Okay. And then they talk about...
Actually, any of these scenes featuring these characters and this little team they have, it kind of reminded me of the Justice League Unlimited episode, Once in a Future Thing, where 3 members of the Justice League, Batman, Wonder Woman, and Green Lantern, they're meeting up with like a future remnants of the Justice League.
Oh, yeah, with like...
Static Shock, and
Terry
McGinnis, older Bruce Wayne, and the son of Jon Stewart, and Hawkgirl. It kind of reminded me of that, the way those scenes were done.
Oh, yeah.
So it's like, I wonder if the filmmakers saw that episode and was like, oh, let's do that, but with Marvel characters.
Or something like that. Yeah, it was like, okay, if it wasn't any of you 3 that got us here, then who did? And that's what X-23 or Laura come out and said that it was her. And it's like, don't make me regret it. And it's like, it's X-23, the one that I was talking about, Logan. And she looked at him like, like, you know, she knows him, but, you know, of course, since this is a variant, he doesn't know her.
Yeah, any of the scenes featuring them together, I mean, they were fine. It's just, I feel like if the director of Logan had done these scenes, it would have been a little better. Because there's, I'm going to get ahead of myself here, but there's a scene later on where Logan and Laura, they're talking with each other over a campfire. It's kind of like a scene in Logan where it's nighttime and they're talking in like a lit area under a lantern or something. It was kind of like that scene all over again.
Yeah, but now it's like but before we get to that one, going back, then they were like talking about like whole like, oh, we need to team up now. Like, team up? What are you talking about?
Yeah.
It's like, but me and Wolverine were in there and we got out of there. Impossible. Well, how did you get out of there? Well, we kind of did a few things and stuff like that, and of course, we couldn't do it without the sacrifice of Johnny. What happened to him?
Oh, nothing.
It's like, yeah, right. After you basically got him killed.
Yeah, and he's like, oh, you just had to reveal it, did you?
Yeah, it's like, no. He may have survived that. Oh my God, if he survived that, he'd be begging for death at this point.
He's dead, guys. There's no doubt about it.
You're like, so what did you? Yeah, so what happened? Better explain now before I go kaboom. Before I go boom boom. It's like, no. It was Cassandra, all right. She basically just kind of ripped all of his skin off.
Which is the exact same thing she did to Daredevil.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah, and then at one point, then they eventually got to the whole, which kind of reminds me of some of the Deadpool one, where it's like, even after Deadpool say all this shenanigan or whatever, but then Elektra was like, because Deadpool was like, I need to save my world. Who cares? I don't care about your world. But if you're able to get in, if they're able to get out of there, we can get back in there and actually have a successful run at it. He's like, but that's suicide though. Doesn't matter. We're gonna go back in there anyways, for legacy's sake. All right, sounds like we're able to do it. Who is with us? Who's in on this? I was born ready. Yes. Yes.
And then eventually,
again, was like, yeah, I was born ready for this. Let's do this. I came out of there ready. You know, spitfire, and it was like, oh my God, we don't need to get that graphic. Love the attitude though. And then X-23 is like, let's effing do this. That's right. That's my...
Yeah, the fact that
They're all gonna effing die. Oh my God, read the room. And then that's when we get to the campfire scene.
Yeah, the fact they made X-23 swear, it's like, you pulled a Chloe Grace Moretz there. I see what you did.
Yeah, it's like, we're all gonna... Oh my God, read the room. Campfire scene with X-23 and Logan.
Which it felt similar to something we already had seen in Logan.
Yep. Which she was talking about her version of Logan. And it's like, you kind of remind me of him. Drunk. It's like, drunk, bad attitude, all this sort of stuff. Sounds like a really good guy. I wasn't finished. It's like, oh, okay.
Well, actually, this is where I was going to bring this up earlier on speculation I had for Wolverine and how he failed his universe.
Yep.
I speculated before this came out that maybe at the end of X-Men The Last Stand, he failed to stop Jean Grey and her, slaughtering of everybody.
Oh, yeah.
Which is why he was reluctant to go back into the fight.
Yeah.
I don't think that was the case with this movie, and I actually was kind of disappointed about that.
No, they went with the route of... Basically, he didn't join. He basically acted like a lone wolf.
Yeah, like that scene in the first X-Men where they wanted to join, but he's like, nope, I'm not doing it.
So they probably went with that route, where that alternative, like, nah, I'm not going to join you.
Yeah, and so...
And actually went on that one. Went with it instead of eventually deciding to join.
Yeah, and then eventually the humans started hunting down the mutants. I believe they were using Sentinels in their mission.
Yes.
In all X-Men media, the Boulevard Trask sends out the Sentinels to hunt down mutants.
Yep.
And so when Wolverine comes back, well, everyone's pretty much dead.
Yeah, so they basically did the whole hunting mutant in his universe a lot sooner.
Yeah, a lot sooner. Like Boulevard Trask came a lot sooner than we thought.
Yep. So that came a lot sooner, and because of that, he came back from the bar a little bit drunk, but by the time he got back, it was too late, and they were all dead.
Yeah. And
so basically, like how Anakin did, he killed them all. But not just the bad guys, but the good guys.
Oh, yeah.
And everyone involved.
Yeah, but I seriously thought it was going to be Wolverine failed to stop Jean Grey when she was the Phoenix at the end of The Last Stand, and well, that didn't work out, and now he's reluctant to go back. I thought they were going to do that, but nope. That was speculation betrayal right there.
Nope, it just went with Lone Wolf that backfired poorly.
Yeah, pretty much.
That backfired poorly, and then he became Anger Vengeance, basically.
Yeah, and then
which basically because then they basically did the early declare war on all X-Men or all mutants.
Yeah, like really early on.
Very early, which then led to basically all mutants dying except for Wolverine.
Yeah, pretty much. I think after the campfire scene, that's when they like all get in the Honda and they're going back to attack the base.
Yep.
And there was a line that was dropped during this moment where they're like, there's been 5 Punishers. And I'm like, wait, stop. There's been 3 Punishers, not 5.
Hey, we can go back to the count after this video. We can do a review. We can do a red flag on that one as well.
Well, it's like there was Thomas Jane, there was another guy, there was John Bernthal, who was the one in the MCU.
Yep.
Unless we count voice actors as the other 2, there were only 3 live-action Punishers. No, wait, I forgot. Dolph Lundgren was in a Punisher movie that a lot of people don't know about.
Yeah.
So, okay, that's 4, but who's 5? Because if I can think of 4, who's the 5th one?
Well, we have, I know there's like the more recent live-action Punisher. I think you already mentioned him.
Yeah, the Netflix Punisher.
Yep.
Then there were the 2 other Punishers. One, they were both under Lionsgate, I believe. Thomas Jane, and I forget who the other guy was.
Yep.
Then there was Dolph Lundgren. Who was the 5th one? I need to look that up.
Yeah, we'll look it up. Anyways, and of course Blade's like, there's only been 1 Blade. And there will only be 1 Blade. And then Deadpool look at the and then of course Deadpool look at the camera like,
Okay, is the movie saying they're going to fire Mahershala Ali, who's going to be in the Blade reboot? I know that's gone through a lot of development problems. It's well documented. Is he going to leave? Are they going to fire him? It's like... Or are you saying all the Blade variants look like Wesley Snipes?
Who knows, but...
Is Marvel saying, are you going to fire the new guy? Are you seriously going to fire the new guy and keep Wesley Snipes?
Yeah.
I'm starting to question some things here, Marvel.
Yeah, it's like, we're only going to be 1 Blade.
Or maybe Deadpool should have said to Elektra, oh, in the MCU, there's actually another Elektra and another Deadpool, and they're not played by you or Ben Affleck.
Yeah.
And then she would like, wait, what? Who's the other Elektra?
Yes.
And that would have been kind of weird if Jennifer Garner meets up with the other Elektra.
Yeah.
Maybe they'll do that in the next 2 Avengers. I don't know.
We'll see, though. Anyways, they eventually blow up the gate, or the hand, which some people actually speculated that version of Ant-Man came from the Quantum Mania. You know, like that giant Ant-Man, or you know that Ant-Man that tried to grow and try to reach for that, whatever it was, like that...
It was like a power cell.
Power cell, but then he quickly vanished away. Or like that big giant one. Some speculated in terms of the theory that it was that Ant-Man.
I didn't hear any of that, but if that's the case, okay.
Yeah. But anyways, besides the point, they blew up the hand, they got through, and then they have the epic, you know, like, get out of the car.
Get out of the car and we're gonna, like, you know, do our poses.
F shit up.
And then actually, there's a scene where X-23 puts on these, like, sunglasses.
The sunglasses from
Logan. And I'm like, the way that scene was shot... Okay, you're doing a Terminator here, where Arnold Schwarzenegger would put on the glasses and stuff.
Yep.
But I was reminded of Terminator 3.
Yep.
There's a scene where Arnold Schwarzenegger puts on these Elton John-like glasses. It somehow reminded me of that.
Yep.
And I'm pretty sure maybe some people would like to see it as a Terminator 2 reference or another Terminator reference, but that's clearly what they were going for there.
And then in 20th Century Fox style, or the old Marvel, you know, X-Men type style, fighting sequence.
Oh, this fight sequence. I gotta talk about this. This was a really chaotic fight sequence. And it was shot the way they would shoot fight scenes in the 2000s, where it's like really disorientating and shaky and frenzied, and it's a little hard to tell what's going on.
It's a frenzy. You have to figure out, okay, who's where, what's going on.
Yeah, it's like if Michael Bay secretly hijacked this movie and filmed it like he does with the Transformers movies.
Or again, like a lot of like 2000 fight sequences, because you know, because there are like a lot of chaotic mess happening. But then you go to like each individual camera shot of like each character doing like their own like fight sequences and stuff like that.
Yeah, and there's so much editing going on. It's like frame every second. It's like one of the Riddick movies actually did that.
Yeah.
in one of the Riddick movies, it's like very chaotic fighting, and Vin Diesel and the other characters are fighting the.
Yeah, to go back and forth between like Vin Diesel and a few other characters fighting off like that.
Yeah,
Similarly with the episode of Star Wars Episode 2, Attack of the Clones. Going back between Anakin, Padme, Obi-Wan, Mace Windu, Django.
Well, that fight scene wasn't like frenzied and chaotic. I could still tell what was going on.
Well, I mean, it was basically all the droids that Geonosis encircling the Jedi, basically, and it was still kind of like, okay, we gotta go back here, back here, back here, back here.
Yeah,
so it was like a CP3 right there coming out as well.
Yeah, but George Lucas did not shoot his sequences where it was so hard to tell what was happening, But
it was still kind of chaotic. Maybe it was an organized chaos, but it was still chaos.
Well, George Lucas has more restraint than other filmmakers, so it's like, well, at least when it comes to cinematography, he has more restraint than other filmmakers.
Yeah.
But it's like, yeah, it's like they wanted to reference those fight scenes, and it's like, I'm not sure if we needed that, but okay.
But I mean, it works well in this one because it is kind of like that, that 2000s, X-Men type fights and stuff like that. But anyways, they have a fight sequence it started off with the sequence with Blade, then Gambit, then Elektra,
and then X-23 is getting involved.
X-23 getting involved, and then eventually get back to Deadpool and Wolverine, fighting their way through, killing enough enemies, then running up the stairs.
Yeah, and then eventually they confront Cassandra again.
Yep.
And then she does her like mind powers.
First, she gets throws Deadpool to the side quickly because she didn't want to deal with that nonsense. So it's like boop, boop, boom. All right, Wolverine. Now it's your turn to talk. Not my style. Nope.
And then she like gets her mind powers, sticking her finger into Wolverine's skull.
Right through him, basically.
It would have been kind of funny if like she made a Voldemort reference and went, "I can touch you now."
Yep. Or very close to like, how like Kylo Ren got to like Poe and it was like get close and close.
Yeah.
And then and then it just and I was like,
Yeah, they could have done that.
And then eventually got to the graveyard of all like the mutants, basically.
Was it a graveyard?
It felt like a graveyard, at least all like a monument of like every single mutants.
If that was supposed to be a graveyard, it really didn't look like that to me. It kind of, I don't know what it reminded me of. It like an island maybe with all these monuments around it.
Yeah, but it was like a monumental or a monument graveyard or whatever. Again, of all the mutants that basically got killed under his watch, but he kind of like didn't join basically, and he's like the guilt of like every single one of these mutants died because he didn't join them.
If they wanted to emphasize his guilt more, they could have had like decaying corpses or people looking really like sunken, and they would have been like, "It's your fault, your fault."
Well, I mean, they didn't do like your fault. They just kind of did like the echoing screams of "help me," basically.
Yeah,
like,
they
help, but it's like the terror scream, and you're just like,
yeah.
I could have. No.
Yeah, they did that, but I think the scene would have been more effective if we had like sunken faces of the mutants that he's failed to save, or like decaying.
That would have been more on Cassandra. She could have done that route. Like, how similar, like how she did it with Deadpool with Vanessa saying, "Hey, basically, you don't effing matter."
Yeah, but I mean, I'm just saying, it would have made the scene more effective.
Yeah.
If they had done that. But anyway, he fights through the mind powers. He's like, no. What happened. I can't change what happened.
Well, it's more of like, I did what I did and all that sort of stuff. And then she's like, I got you. And he's like, no, I got you. Helmet was put on.
And she's like,
Thanks to the help of X-23, Laura killing Juggernaut and throwing the helmet up top. And Deadpool got the helmet and placed it on top.
Yeah,
and it's like,
she's like, this thing's really heavy and it hurts.
Get off. And it's like, nope, we're gonna finish you off right here unless you agree to help us. It's like, I can't help you because of the helmet. So it's either you kill me or take off the helmet and I kill you guys. Either way, it's a win-win. It's like, oh my god, let me do it. What? No, I got her head right here. Let me do it. And it's like, no, let me do it. You'll just mess it up. Oh, like PG. Oh, right, PG-13 besides the last one.
Yeah. And of course they do, and then all those like veins that are popping, they
Well,
go back.
before that though, Pyro gets a few gunshots into the chest, or into the body of Cassandra, and he was about to make his monologue, and then Wolverine's like, no, you don't get a monologue.
Yeah, and I was like, I wanted to hear what he was saying.
He does not get a monologue.
Yeah, but it would have been kind of interesting to hear. Oh well.
Anyways, back to the point. It's like, let me take off the helmet. We gotta save her at least. But wait, she's gonna fry his boat. No.
Hang on a second.
She's gonna fry his boat. No, she won't. No. You take off that helmet, all right? Wore this suit for a reason, all right? Because of Charles, all right?
It's a reminder of my time with the X-Men.
Yep. So I'm gonna do this for Charles, because he would have done the same for you. So,
actually, yeah, he must have been wearing that suit the whole time, like he left the X-Men, because when Deadpool like sees it under his jacket, he must kind of smell funny wearing that suit for so long.
Probably, who knows? Anyways, takes out the helmet. She basically was like, all right, you saved me a little bit for taking it off or whatever, but for the gunshots. So I'll help you out this one bit. So she grabs
She gets a sorcerer ring, sling ring, which Doctor Strange wears.
Yep, which she apparently kills, so at least...
Probably a variant.
Variant of Doctor Strange that she killed. And she did the whole...
Yeah, she opens the portal and is like, go through here.
You also have about 4 seconds to go through it, otherwise, Cloud Monster over here is going to eat you up. Try to eat you up.
It's funny that she says 4 seconds, because that would have been quick.
Yeah.
But no, it doesn't close in 4 seconds.
I mean, it's very, very slow motion, though.
Yeah.
With that whole sequence...
We need to have a stylized slow-mo sequence, which... Did Zack Snyder secretly direct it?
Which, it almost looked like the four were about to die, but no, they came back last moment to kill off the rest.
Yeah, and then we do kind of see the other heroes, they're like fighting the other guys, and then they, of course, are getting injured and possibly killed.
Almost killed. It looked like they were going to be killed. It looked like it was going to be like one of those secrets where like it was one of those like last minute they're dying because you're going through like heroic like last stand, but
again
there was like the 1 or 2 people that might have gotten you out of like nowhere.
Again, it kind of reminded me of that Justice League Unlimited episode where the remnants are either getting killed off or they're about to die,
Yeah.
Because Terry dies in that sequence, Static gets absorbed, and then I can't remember what happens to Jon Stewart's son.
Yeah, but anyways, but they don't end up dying. Instead, they just take battle wounds and finish off whoever they were facing.
Yeah.
But they get engulfed by the cloud.
Yeah, and you think, oh, it's too late. They've been eaten by the cloud. Nope, they made it through the portal. Deadpool and Wolverine.
Yeah, Deadpool and Wolverine. The other people didn't, though. Because it was acted as like we held them off as long as we could. So we did our part. So long, guys. Yep, they went through the portal. And then, of course, Paradox is like, hurry it up here. We're going to have company here. And it's Deadpool and Wolverine's like, no, you guys, no one came back for the boy. Tell that to Cassandra. Oh, well, we could say that right now because the portal's opening behind you. Because Pyro was like, don't go into my body here. Jesus Christ, I'll tell you. You just had to ask.
Oh, but she doesn't care and does the mind powers anyway.
Well, after she opens up the portal, and then cracks his head.
Yeah.
And then she's like, oh, now let's talk now, Paradox. I don't know what you... Another
one of those mind-body horror-like powers.
Yep, that she does. And then Deadpool's like, oh, don't worry. We're about to destroy that Time Ripper machine anyways. You just deal with him, keep him under bay while we destroy it. Oh, no. I do not want to destroy it. I want to use it and destroy every single other timeline except for the Void.
Wait, hang on a second. This villain wants to destroy every timeline except for the Void?
Yep.
You can almost hear Kang in the other room going, hey, that's my plan! Stop stealing my plan! Which... oh, wait, I can't do that now because they got someone else, but... anyway.
It's like, that was my... Okay, never mind.
Yeah, me and my variants, we were going to destroy all the universes, all the timelines, and now you're taking the plan for me? I mean, who are you to challenge me? Imagine if Kang secretly showed up... Imagine if Kang showed up in the movie and actually said that.
Yeah.
And I heard a rumor that Kang did show up in this, but nope.
Nope. But eventually he's like, all right. the parents are talking, click, and then she eventually goes downstairs and then, try to do it, and then gets the thing powered up.
Yeah, she gets the thing powered up. It's basically sticking 2 hands in a power cell.
And then basically getting the power down, or trying to basically enact the thing under her own jurisdiction. Meanwhile, they were getting out of the wreckage, and here comes, out of the portal, Dogpool first.
Dogpool first, but then
Nice Pool.
Nice Pool.
And then every other Deadpool.
Every Deadpool variant that you could possibly think of.
Yeah, and then Wolverine's like, what do you smell? I smell you.
A lot of you.
And here comes the Deadpool variant, which includes Deadpool's family member, the actor's family members.
Oh yeah,
which I told you about.
Yeah, because the female Deadpool, Lady Deadpool, is played by Blake Lively, Ryan Reynolds' wife.
And then the kid Pool is played by his first kid.
And she was cursing like a sailor, actually.
Yeah, no. And as Nice Pool said it, she's the dirtiest of all the Deadpool.
Yeah, and the fact that Ryan Reynolds let his kid curse on set like that.
Yeah.
Another Chloe Grace Moretz. I see what you did there.
Yep. And Baby Pool is played by their second kid.
I mean, that's kind of strange that he got his entire family on board for this.
Yep. And then you mentioned that Cowboy.
The Cowboy Deadpool is played by Matthew McConaughey.
Yeah.
Which was interesting because I heard DC and Marvel were trying to get this guy into their movies for some time.
Yeah.
But apparently Marvel got him.
Yep, and they eventually did through a Deadpool variant.
Yeah. And actually with Lady Deadpool, I'm actually happy they had Blake Lively play this character.
Yeah.
Because there was a lot of speculation of who Lady Deadpool was going to be.
Yeah.
One of which they said could have been Taylor Swift. And I'm like, no, don't do that.
Yes.
Thankfully, they didn't.
Yep.
It's Blake Lively, so thank you, Marvel, for not doing that, even though you're supposedly talking to Taylor Swift about having a part in this universe, but thank you for not doing that. That would have bugged me.
And then Deadpool was admitting that, for the Marvel Universe to take the L on multiverse shenanigans.
Yeah, because then they were going off on the multiverse, and then Deadpool's like, oh, it's been done to death, and it's not the best.
And the only one that did it right perfectly was Wizard of Oz.
It's strange how you bring that up, because when did the Wizard of Oz go multiverse?
I have to look that up myself. I would imagine probably
because you got the original movie, you got some spin-offs and some other stuff.
You got spin-off, but she kind of went through another universe, though, even though it was kind of like you could almost say like a daydream or a coma effect, one could say off of that.
Well, yeah, Dorothy was dreaming the whole time, but it's like she didn't go to another universe. She went to another plane of existence, which you could say is another universe, but...
Yeah, you could say, then again, a spin-off, The Wicked had the Dr. Oz, literally traveling with the balloon, literally getting to there at some point.
They did make a movie called Oz the Great and Powerful with James Franco, so it's like, yeah, they did that.
Yeah, he eventually traveled there, albeit with the balloon.
Maybe it's like a magical invisible portal, and we don't see it, and it's like in the weather.
Yeah,
kind of like, how they say the Bermuda Triangle, secretly it might teleport you somewhere, because there's a lot of mysterious things that happen in Bermuda Triangle.
Yep.
Maybe it's that. Because, they say Wizard of Oz did the multiverse. When? I have no idea when they did that.
But yeah, we'll have to look it up later, but apparently they're the one that did it right.
Well, really, did they? Because I know the multiverse can be done right, but when people go crazy with it, well, that's when it gets a little messy.
Yeah. Which in this case, that's what Ryan Reynolds was insinuating, that we got messy with it, we gotta take our L here and move on. And then that's what all the other Deadpool was like, what are you talking about? We're gonna end this here by just pruning everything else, or destroying every other universe. But if she does, then we're all screwed.
Wait a minute. Why do all the Deadpool variants want to kill every universe? What's their deal with that?
I have no idea. But anyway, Uzi time, baby.
Yeah, Blake Lively gets out 2 Uzis and then...
and then Wolverine with Dogpool takes cover, and Deadpool grabbing Nice Pool.
Yeah, they use Nice Pool as a shield, and then he's like, oh, what the heck, man? You're using me as a human shield?
I said, oh my god. It was like, oh, it's like, no, it's more like, what the heck, you're using him as a human shield? Oh, come on, man. All right, how long can you be able to regenerate? Regenerate?
Yeah, he's like,
and it's like, oh, because Nice Pool, he doesn't have the scars and everything else like that. He doesn't get the ability to regenerate. And it's like, Jesus Christ, man, you're basically killing him. I'm not a doctor here.
and then eventually they like blow up his head.
Well, yeah, and he's like, oh my god, a food stand! That's practically a health thing! I'm like, is that a video game reference? To any other, like, oh, food stand! Health regenerate! You know? It's like, no, it won't be. We can get you over there! No, you won't. And then start using him as a human shield.
Yeah, and then eventually they blow
stopped.
they eventually blow his head up, and you see bone and brain matter, I think.
Yeah, and it's like, drags the body over anyways, and then Wolverine gets the dog out. Hold your fire!
Yeah, hold your fire, hold your fire.
It's a good dog.
Yeah, which makes sense. Nobody would want to shoot a dog unless they were that mean-spirited.
PETA, or like any other, like the supposedly PETA or like the AFK or whatever.
Oh yeah. But I'm pretty sure nobody. But I'm pretty sure they're like, no, we're not killing Dogpool. That would be too mean.
That'd be too mean. And then it's like Wolverine just casually just walks across the street.
Yeah, the whole theater erupted in laughter around that scene.
Well, yeah, because it's like they were all shooting at Deadpool and Nice Pool, and then when they're about to come with the dog, it's like, don't shoot the dog! No, don't!
Okay, we won't shoot the dog, but if there's an alligator variant of Deadpool, maybe we'll shoot that.
Oh, God. Alligator.
And we'll shoot it because gator meat tastes good. Or something. We'll shoot Gator Pool, and then we'll eat the gator meat with barbecued crickets or something.
I'm pretty sure he would join with the other Deadpool variants, though.
No. We like the gator meat. We're eating the gator meat with barbecued crickets. Or something like that. I'm making stuff up.
It's like, hey, man, and also the gator thing, that's Loki's thing.
Yeah, but who's to say there's a gator variance of the other heroes? Or other animal variants? I don't know.
Anyways, continuing on. No! He had his, I could taste his last thoughts.
And what were his last thoughts?
And it's like, he died being a hero. He didn't die being a hero. You murder him. And it's like, the only thing I can remember it by are these gold-plated Desert Eagles.
Yeah, he gets out the golden pistols, and then, well, that's when they're like, well, we're going to fight all the Deadpool variants now.
And it's like, are you ready to do this? Like, I get to kill 100 of you. He's like, I get to kill 100 of you? Of course I'm ready. Let's do this. And then that's when Madonna kicks in.
Yeah, and then it's a montage of them fighting all the Deadpool variants.
Yep. Oh, like a prayer, too. Madonna, like a prayer.
And then Wolverine does put on his signature mask.
Yep.
Which, I'm pretty sure on opening night, this got a massive standing ovation in the theater.
Oh, yeah. That is like, oh, my God, I got the mask on. Holy shit.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure all the fans reacted well to that.
Yeah, no, it's like, do you do this for a special occasion? Only when killing things. How's the wind resistance on that? Oh my God, I'm sorry. I just get a little jealous when I'm like this attitude. All right, maximum effort.
And then of course they start fighting all the variants, and one of the very first ones they take out is Lady Deadpool.
One of the very first few people was Lady Deadpool, yeah. And they get through every single Deadpool. And eventually gets, they get backed up, and then push, breaks through, and they kill everyone. Gets onto a bus, too, to start killing.
Yeah, but actually on the bus, you see Stan Lee on a banner. So it's like posthumous cameo?
Probably. They eventually get out of the bus, and then the last Deadpool out of the variants living was Baby Deadpool.
Yeah.
Laughing. And it's like, you thought you killed every one of them.
Yeah, and it's like, no, we're not going to shoot the baby. That would be too mean-spirited.
It's like, wait, what are you laughing at? And it's like, everyone gets up, and it's like, oh, crap. We don't have time for this.
Yeah, and we regenerate. You thought you could kill all of us.
And it's like, we don't have time for this. Hold it, Deadpool. And it's like the Peter Pool.
Yeah.
Or the Peter comes in.
And then they're all like, oh yeah, there's a Peter Pool in like every Deadpool universe.
Or there's a Peter, and Deadpool's like, oh no. Every variant goes, oh, it's Peter. wait, you know Peter? Of course, all of us have a Peter in our universe. It's like,
You know what this Peter thing is starting to remind me of?
What?
Imagine if one of the Deadpool variants was like, "You're letting him kill Peter! Find him! Save Peter!" And they're like, "Why did you say that name?" And they're like, "What? You have a Peter? You got a Peter?"
Yeah.
They could have done a Save Martha moment with that.
Well, it's almost also another thing with like the Spider-Man verse where it's like everyone has a Ben that eventually dies.
Yes, but we also have a Gwen in every universe.
Yeah, but some die.
Some die, some of them don't. Infinite.
Yeah. And there's also every Aunt May.
Oh yeah, every Aunt May, and then there's like every Norman Osborn and Harry and everybody else.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
Anyways, getting back. So after all the Deadpool variants are like chanting Peter's name, like Peter, help out with my Peter. They go downstairs for last minute push. For a last minute push, for the ending sequence. Where it's like, alright, what do we need to do to stop her? Alright, if you go down there and you basically mix matter and antimatter together or something like that, they will fight with each other and that will blow up the machine. Alright, let's do this. But if one of you guys actually do it as like the conductor, you will die. Well, I mean, we're used to death anyway when we regenerate. So, but this is a matter of matter and antimatter. They do not play nicely with each other. So you'll be reduced to atoms.
Yeah.
And then of course they have like the whole like, oh, it should be me that do this. No. I will do this.
And then the Deadpool does have a line drop where he's like, "Oh, when you turn your neck, is that how Batman does it?"
Oh no. I think that was like the Wolverine where it's like, oh yeah, I would not. Yeah, this Wolverine with the mask on is very intimidating. Like Batman, if he's able to move his neck.
I bet DC's gonna get their lawyers on the line for that one.
But that was more referencing to the older Batman one where I think one of the older one, I think like the 90 one where he's kind of like
oh, Michael Keaton Batman along with the other two.
Yeah, where it's just like
well, it's like, okay.
Yep. It was referencing that one.
Okay, it's like, yeah, DC's gonna get their lawyers on the line there, Ryan Reynolds.
Yep. And in the meanwhile, while they're like the whole, I should do this. No, I should do this. You have people to go for. I have nothing. And then Deadpool's like, nope, you live. And it's like, it's like, I can't hear you over the noble sacrifices.
Okay.
Or, I marble Jesus or Spock. Whichever one.
Yeah, when they do mention him as being the best Wolverine, which that's something all the fans would say.
Yeah.
But when Deadpool goes through there and then locks the door and then Wolverine's on the other side.
Yep.
This movie rips off something from Michael Bay's Armageddon. There's a scene towards the end where they draw straws over who's going to stay behind and blow up the asteroid.
Yep.
And Ben Affleck's the one who ends up doing it.
Yep.
But then Bruce Willis takes his place and then locks him behind the door.
Yep.
The scene is exactly like that.
Yeah.
It's like they decided to rip off Michael Bay's Armageddon. It's like, guys, I think Michael Bay's going to get his lawyers on the line now.
Or then we also have, again, like a Deadpool with referencing Spock, the new Spock.
Yeah,
one.
they're referencing Star Trek too, and it's like, oh gosh, who controls the Star Trek stuff now, Paramount might get their lawyers on the line.
and then of course it's like, oh, Deadpool's like flying Superman or faking walking down the stairs. I'm sorry, I guess I'm nervous when facing impending death. And it's like he grabs one end and he's trying to reach for the other end. It's like, oh no, it's like he's not gonna reach it. We're all dead.
Yeah, like
Wolverine breaks through and claws.
Well, yeah, Deadpool breaks one of the power cells, and then he's like absorbing all this stuff. But then Wolverine comes in, breaks the other one.
Claws at the other one, grabs Deadpool, claws at the other one, and then they both kind of like,
they're like having a power struggle with Cassandra, and then you can see the bar that's like saying the stabilization of the universe.
Yep, it was like at 1%. Yeah, it was like at 1%, and then a 2, 1, 2, 3, 3, 3, 1, 1, and it was jumping way back up to 100% while they were all struggle fighting with each other, or basically looks like it was pending doom. While listening to Madonna like a prayer again at maximum level.
Yeah, and so they eventually overload Cassandra with all that power, and then they blow up.
They blow up, everything blows up, and then that's when the TVA and the original policewoman that
Yeah,
now
one
got
of
up
the
to
original TVA people.
Yep, who is now at the higher level authority. She came down and was like, "What on earth are you doing here? We've been hearing a unsanctioned and time ripper effect that's being active. Do you know what's going on here?" "What? You? I don't know what you're talking about here." "Oh, really? So what's been going on here, really?"
He tries to explain it, but of course, Deadpool and Wolverine survived the whole thing.
Yeah, it's like, "And he has risen from the dead."
Yeah, honestly, the way I saw that, where these characters are like overloading the villain and overloading them with all that power, and then they blow up.
Yep.
This movie seriously pulled an Ang Lee Hulk by doing that.
Yeah, and
because in Ang Lee's Hulk, towards the end, the Hulk basically gives all his power to the bad guy.
Yeah.
It overloads the bad guy, like gets into this massive bubble, and then the military blows him up.
Yep.
And then the Hulk survives.
Yep.
They seriously did it again with this movie, where
Yeah.
it's like the two characters, they're overloading with all this power, and the villain's overloading. And only the villain dies, and they survive.
Yeah, and it's like, "You're right." And it's like, "But how? You should be dead." "You're right, though. If it was one of us, we'd be dead. But if you add two people, Wolverine and a Deadpool, combining together, holding hands while listening to Madonna, we are invincible."
Yeah, and then eventually they reveal themselves, and all is good, and everybody's saved.
Yeah, no, and TVA is like, "All right, this is a variant, though." Or mistakenly was thinking it was going to be a variant. But then Peter comes in, No, this is homegrown here. Homegrown here. "Who are you?" "Peter Pool. But you could call me Peter." The awkward staring between her and him. And it's like, what the is going on here? "You are under her scrutiny. You're under investigation of basically an unsanctioned pruning. Take him away. I only was doing what you guys won't do." And it's like, well, you just admitted guilty of all charges.
Yeah, pretty much.
And then she looks at Deadpool Wolverine, and it's like, you brought you brought an Omni person, like Omni level person, into your universe. You're welcome. You're not even supposed to be in this universe. He's welcome. And you look, and she's like complimenting Peter, and it's like, "I'm sorry." It's like, wait, why are you sorry?
Yeah. And then I think after all that, you know, everybody's saved. And
Everyone's saved, and apparently this particular universe is actually saved. Not only is like saved from impending doom, but it's actually given a second chance.
yeah, and you would see on the little computer that it's regenerating.
It's regenerating back up, and it's like, so like, is this meaning that this particular Wolverine is going to decide to stay here then?
Which
Probably looks like that way.
yeah, because we see him with Deadpool and all his friends and stuff at the end.
Along with X-23.
Yeah, who decides to stay, and I don't know if I saw any of the other teammates.
No, Electric wasn't there.
Electra wasn't there. I didn't see Gambit or Blade.
Yeah, which probably assuming when they got back, or at least in that universe, they probably went their separate ways.
Yeah.
While Laura decided to stick with, Logan, since he was a father figure to her.
Yeah, and then it looks like Vanessa and Deadpool might get back together.
Yep, because Logan's like, "Give me the dog, you talk to the girl."
Yeah. And then after all that, I think, the movie stops.
Movie stops, but that's right before the first little ending thing, which is a thank you letter to all the fans that watched the 2000s,
much of the 20th Century Fox stuff that went through 2000 up until the mid to late 2010s.
Yeah, with Deadpool.
Yeah.
With the Ryan Reynolds Deadpool. And they didn't show any of the Blade.
Because Blade was New Line Cinema, not 20th Century Fox.
Yeah, but they show a lot of the X-Men. They showed Deadpool.
They showed, pretty much.
Fantastic Four. Anything 20th Century Fox did.
You also see a little bit of Ben Affleck Daredevil, but not too much.
Yeah, not too much. But they did a lot. They showed a lot.
There was definitely a lot of X-Men, like behind the scenes and interviews that I'm pretty sure you can get on the Blu-rays or the DVDs.
Yep, and the Fantastic Four. Both the first version, and 1 second clip, or 2 second clip at least, of the second one.
Yeah, I saw the original Fantastic Four, which makes sense because Chris Evans, Johnny Storm was in there.
Yep.
But I seriously thought they were going to leave out the Josh Trank Fantastic Four because nobody really liked that.
Yeah.
But it's like, no, they left it in there, and it's like, it's weird how, like, they left it in there because they were planning on like putting those characters as cameos in Deadpool 2.
Yeah.
But they cut it completely. And then there's a comic where they actually have those versions of the characters and they kill them off.
Yeah.
So it goes to show how much everybody thought of that movie.
Yep.
But it's weird how they like left Josh Trank's Fantastic Four stuff in there.
Yep.
Because it's like Josh Trank himself has publicly disowned that movie.
Yep.
He would have never approved something like that.
Yep.
But I'm guessing they just went ahead because they don't care. But it's just weird how they leave it in there. Because like, does anyone really want to remember that version? It wasn't that great.
Yeah. Who knows? But it was part of 20th Century Fox. You know, the whole movie thing of their Marvel. So and since they moved into the Disney Marvel stuff, it's like, thank you for being with us through all these troubling times. The happy and the down.
Yeah, I guess so. And they could have made references to other unmade movies that they were going to do. Like, I know at one point they were going to reboot Daredevil, and I think Jason Statham was going to be in the reboot.
Yep.
They could have, like, thrown in, like, a funny little Easter egg or two showing Jason Statham in the suit or concept art of what that would have looked like.
Yep.
But I guess, really, they couldn't do that. And I guess Jason Statham wanted nothing to do with that, maybe.
But after the first clip of just going through all like the background, on the onset, like clips and stuff like that, everyone having fun and stuff like that. Then we get the second part or the epilogue, which is Ryan Reynolds or Deadpool throws the challenge flag of everyone think that I got Johnny Storm killed. Let's go back to the tape.
And then he shows Johnny Storm actually saying that stuff.
Yep.
I mean, maybe that could have been manipulated.
Well, if you believe in that, that's Kevin right there, the robot that we see from She-Hulk.
Oh yeah, maybe Kevin manipulated that.
If you want to believe that, or it could be that he actually legitimately said that. Who knows?
Whatever conclusion you want to go with, I guess.
Yeah, but I would go with the conclusion of he actually said it because that fits under Johnny.
Honestly, if you had cut that post-credit epilogue entirely, it doesn't change a thing.
Well, it would have. Well, then it would have been debated really a lot more. Although it'd still be debated now. Oh, but in a different pretense, though.
Perhaps
It'll be debated on this pretense of did Kevin manipulated the whole wording?
Perhaps Kevin did manipulate it. Perhaps.
Maybe not. Who knows? But instead of like saying like, oh, is Deadpool, just trying to bluff his way out of it, and he actually said all that, or he didn't say all that, or did he actually say that? This time it's more of, Deadpool could be telling the truth. Nah, it was Kevin. Kevin manipulated it because he likes Deadpool a lot.
Yeah, it probably was manipulation because I honestly don't know if that was real or not, but yeah, there you go.
Yeah, I don't know about that, but either way, though, and that was the end of Deadpool.
Yeah, and
Wolverine.
Yeah, and really thinking hard about this, because this takes place outside of the sacred timeline, and there's a lot of universe jumping and stuff.
Yep.
This is a movie that I'm not sure how they're going to justify its place in the timeline that they have for the Marvel Cinematic Universe. I'm not sure where it's going to take place after.
Well, since we're still in the multiverse still, so it could be in effect a little bit. Plus, we have Deadpool jumping into 616, the sacred timeline.
Yeah, it's just, this isn't taking place directly within the sacred timeline, so you have to wonder what's happening at the same time as this movie.
Yeah, who knows?
Maybe Captain America 4 is happening around the same time as this? Because we did get a trailer for that in front of this.
Yep.
And we will see the Red Hulk.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm saving all thoughts for when I actually see that movie.
Yep.
Because I have my doubts about it.
Mm-hmm.
Mainly Harrison Ford as General Ross.
Yeah.
Because he's one of the most recognizable actors. And I know who played General Ross originally in these movies. But it's like, Harrison Ford, we all know who he is. Why are you putting him in this?
Yeah.
It's strange, but I'm not going to go into that too much.
Yep.
But final thoughts on Deadpool and Wolverine. Your final thoughts?
Really fun movie to watch. Definitely really fun. Chaotically fun. It's a Deadpool type movie. Very similar story style, structure to the Deadpool video game, but except it's now in the movie version type of it. And yeah, it's just really fun. Love the opening too. Probably one of my favorite openings from a movie.
Okay. For me, it's like, this is a movie that I think here's how I look at it. If you really like Deadpool and you're a big fan of this character, this is a blast for you. If you're someone who's not too big on Deadpool, you might not like this too much. Because I know there's some people that we're not too big on this.
Yeah, I would also say if you're also a fan of the 20th Century Fox stuff, like the older days of Deadpool, if you grew up watching it and enjoyed those type of movies.
Like, yeah, if you have nostalgia or have stories to tell about the 20th Century Fox run of Marvel movies, you might get some kind of farewell out of this, I guess. It was kind of a messy era with 20th Century Fox because the X-Men was their most successful Marvel property out of all of them.
Yep, definitely was. And they showcase, again, some of the failures, too.
Yeah, which, some of us don't want to talk about those failures, but oh well.
Yeah, oh well. I mean, they showcased it, though, because it was part of that universe.
Yeah, and I guess really for me it's like, yeah, it's a Deadpool movie. I think a lot of Deadpool fans are going to like this. Mm-hmm. I have my issues with this film, especially with the way it was structured. Yeah. And just the way they handled certain stuff. But, I mean, this is clearly a treat for Deadpool fans. And they will get a blast out of this.
Yep.
Me, it's like I was just kind of like baffled and this was a very tongue-in-cheek movie for me.
Yeah, for me.
Because, I mean, I knew going in this was going to be a comedy fest. I'm not going to lie. I knew there was going to be a lot of humor going into this.
Comedy, humor, action, everything just blended into one chaotic, funny, storytelling, comic book adventure movie.
And this didn't really feel like, the typical MCU movie. This clearly had a lot of Ryan Reynolds' influence on it.
That and a decent mixture of the 20th Century Fox Marvel.
Yeah, some of the scenes, the way they were done, it felt like the old X-Men movies.
Yep.
How they would handle the serious scenes.
Yeah.
It seriously felt like that, but I just kind of imagined if you got the actual X-Men directors to do the scenes, they would have done it not like this. They would have done it with more emotional impact.
Yeah. Who knows?
Just like they did in their own movies.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, clearly a lot of people are having fun with this. This is clearly a blast for all the Deadpool fans.
And a blast too, seemingly for a lot of people too, considering that it was a box office success right off of opening weekend.
Yeah, and I'm just going to say this right now. Although a lot of people had fun with this and they got to finally see Hugh Jackman and Ryan Reynolds team up, if I was doing a movie where Wolverine and Deadpool were together, I would do it a lot more differently than this. Mm-hmm. I'm not going to go into that too much, but I would do it a lot more differently than this.
Yeah, I certainly enjoyed this a lot, and I know a good amount of people did.
Yeah, I'm probably one of the few people that will go, if you're a big Deadpool fan and you really like this, I'm happy for you.
Yeah.
But for people like me who are not too keen and find this very tongue-in-cheek, it'll be an interesting experience.
Yeah.
Now, here's the big question at hand. How would people rank this among the Deadpool movies?
I would say it'd probably be up there, if not like the best one in terms of the Deadpool movies.
Because I didn't rewatch the other two, so I'm not quite sure how this would rank.
Yeah, it could be 3-1-2 or 3-2-1, but I would imagine 3 would probably be a lot of the unanimous number 1.
Yeah, but I think depending on how you look at the character, you'll kind of rank it however you want.
Yeah. Some
people might see this as the weakest Deadpool. Others will see this as just good fun.
Yeah.
Because I've heard different opinions on this, but I mean, if you got what you wanted and you had fun, it's good. It's good for you.
Yeah.
I knew what I was getting into with this, but it was still a very tongue-in-cheek experience for me. This was probably the most tongue-in-cheek superhero movie I think I've ever seen in my life.
Definitely was chaotic, to say the least. And comedy, yeah.
Because there's been other superhero movies that are very tongue-in-cheek.
Yep.
But this one was tongue-in-cheek to the max.
Yeah.
Super tongue-in-cheek, and I mean, some people might like that, and depending on your preference and stuff.
Yeah, at least when it comes to because in this case, for a lot of people knowing Deadpool, it's like this is very fits into the Deadpool movie, and this is what we came for.
Yeah, I mean, and the filmmakers knew what they wanted, and the Ryan Reynolds knew what everybody wanted, and they got that R rating. And despite this movie being rated R, this didn't feel like this wasn't overly R-rated, even though there was R-rated stuff in there.
So not hard R as you think.
Yeah, maybe I'm so desensitized to what goes on in movies like this that I'm like, honestly, I'm so old at this point, and I'm so desensitized. This does nothing for me. But There you have it. That's the treat for Deadpool fans.
Probably desensitized to this point of like saying maybe a few words and saying, yeah, the blood's not that bad.
Yeah.
Or that's okay just to say it out of cheek and tongue, you know.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, and I'm not quite sure where this ranks among the other MCU movies at the moment, because I would have to rewatch a lot of Phase 5, but...
Now, the MCU will probably be a little bit different, although I would say this one will probably rank it'll probably rank pretty high up there, but it will be a different sort of like where it stands in terms of the Marvel compared to the Deadpool movies.
Pretty much. Anyway, bottom line, this is clearly something that a lot of Deadpool fans will like.
Yep.
I will say this, though, it was well acted, everybody did a good job. I didn't see a bad performance one bit in this. It's very tongue-in-cheek, and... there were a few visual effects that looked really fake. Other times they looked pretty good.
Yep.
There's clearly something here that a lot of people will really enjoy.
A lot of action, a lot of comedic moment, a lot of cameos.
Oh, definitely. This is a big cameo fest. And
Yep.
if you enjoyed the cameos of No Way Home and Multiverse of Madness, you'll clearly get something out of this.
Yep.
Because this is something for... people that just want to have a good time, I guess.
Yep, and I guess a good amount of 2000 musics.
Oh, yeah, definitely. I'm serious. That must have been Avril Lavigne in that one scene,
Yeah.
and I need to look up the soundtrack for that, because it sounded just like her, and I don't know if it was on one of her earliest albums, or what album it was on, but I think it's her. I gotta look it up.
I think the only one that wasn't like 2000s was probably the Hugh Jackman, The Greatest Showman.
Yeah, because that was mid-2010s.
Yep. Mid to late 2010s with The Greatest Showman, and but that was probably referenced just because Hugh Jackman played in that film.
Oh yeah, because he can sing. He's a music man.
Even though it was like a split, like 2 seconds before the radio got switched.
Anyway, final thing I need to say before we wrap this up. There's been a lot that's come out lately about Marvel. The biggest announcement was Robert Downey Jr. as Dr. Doom.
Yes, Dr. Doom, Robert Downey Jr., a.k.a. if you want to say it could be either Victor Von Doom, like we all know.
They claim it's going to be Victor Von Doom, but I'm speculating now it could be a Tony Stark variant who killed Victor Von Doom and took all his stuff.
Yeah, I was about to say, I initially told you that, but you initially didn't believe me about that one, or at least, because I initially thought that at first, along with a few other people or YouTubers who also kind of agree with that notion, like, because it's you're putting Robert Downey Jr., which we all know was Iron Man, into Dr. Doom in this MCU universe, and we're in the middle of a multiverse.
Yeah, I mean, the internet went crazy, and a lot of us were like, they should have casted Henry Cavill, Cillian Murphy, or somebody else as Dr. Doom.
I didn't hear Henry Cavill, although that could be just because, because Deadpool just came out or long before this announcement.
Well, it was something I pictured in my head because I think Henry Cavill's British, but if he could find a way to pull off the Eastern European angle of Dr. Doom, because Dr. Doom's Eastern European, he might have found a way.
See, for me, because of Robert Downey Jr., because you're talking about Eastern European, even though Robert is American, I'm like, he did play Sherlock Holmes, and that was a British,
Well, yeah, it's
a character. That's a British character, and he played that in a Sherlock Holmes movie.
Well, it's just everybody's been looking forward to Dr. Doom, and we all had really good ideas for who we wanted to play the part. Yeah. But Robert Downey Jr., it's like, honestly, we need to wait and see what they come up with for the next 2 Avengers, because they're coming up with something crazy. I know they are.
Yeah, I initially, and again, a few people initially thought it is a Tony Stark variant that turned into Dr. Doom.
Or it could be Tony Stark who killed Victor Von Doom and took all his stuff.
Yeah.
Which, if they go with that angle, that could save it a bit.
Yeah. Who knows? But, I mean, it could be that, he became Victor Von Doom because my thing probably was, instead of like, how his parents died and then he kind of went with the route that we saw with Iron Man, he took up the family business and actually made it a lot better. He kind of went similar to that route, but instead when he built the Iron Man suit, he kind of went on a vengeance route, which soured, his heart and made his, heart full of like cold and more kind of like Doctor Doom type vibes.
Yeah, and some are saying like the Fantastic Four film that's coming out, it's set in a different universe in the 1960s. So it's like, have Pedro Pascal and the new Fantastic Four been chasing this variant of Doctor Doom across the multiverse? There's speculation of that. I don't know what it's going to be.
Who knows? We'll see. But that's one thing I could see is, like the Tony Stark that went on a vengeance route and eventually became Doctor Doom because of vengeance.
I did have speculation. Me and my coworkers were speculating that if they go with Doctor Doom, they could do a thing where Doctor Doom comes in and annihilates the Council of Kangs, like kills all the Kangs, and he goes, "This council has been disbanded. On whose authority? Mine." And then he like blasts them all away.
Yeah. Or I was thinking, it could be like council dismissed, and then everyone dies without even questioning. Like, wait, what?
Or maybe we'll get this really epic fight scene where Doctor Doom and his army of Doom bots and whatever else he's got, they like take out all the Kang variants.
Yeah. But then also with this potential Stark variant of, being Doctor Doom, like he takes off the mask and see like the original cast of the MCU still there. They see him as like Stark,
and then maybe we'll get a scene where Tom Holland's like, Stark, you're
is that you? And it's like also Thor's like, Stark? And it's like, I'm not your Stark. Or I'm not Iron Man. I'm not your Iron Man. I'm Doctor Doom.
Well, the Doom of that universe, I killed him and took all his stuff and then assumed his identity.
Well, it's just, I would kind of more menacing, like, I'm not your Iron Man. Something like that. It's like, I'm not the person that you think of anymore. Or, or not what you think I am.
They might go that route because
it'll be like a lot more like that intimidation, like, oh crap, this is not, it's you, but not what we know of you.
Yeah, that's what me and a lot of people are speculating.
Because it made make it a lot colder. Like imagine like a Star Wars universe where Anakin didn't get burnt. And he kept on but he had like the hood to fake, to hide it.
Yeah.
But then he kind of revealed himself to like some other Jedi's that knew Anakin, and they see Anakin, and they're like, Anakin?
And then he's like, I'm not your Anakin.
Yeah, it's like, I'm not Anakin no longer. I'm Darth Vader. Something like that where it's like, something became more of Vader, and it's just like, the defeat, everyone feels defeated because it's like, or at least the people that knew, like that particular character, they feel defeated because it's like the person that you thought was like the good-hearted one now became evil. Whilst maybe a few other people that don't know him personally are like, get up, man! What are you doing? And they're like still like stunned.
Yeah, they might go that angle, but I need to see how it plays out when the next two movies come because they're a couple years away or something.
Well, I think 2026,
That's when Avengers Doomsday comes out.
Yep, so that will be when we first initially see Doctor Doom.
And then Secret Wars is still on track for 2027.
Yep.
But I mean, and the other thing too I've heard is once those two movies are wrapped up, they might reboot the entire MCU. And I'm like, just end it. I don't think I want to reboot. I mean, DC's going through a reboot right now. Let them do whatever it is they need to do. But Marvel, you had a good run. Just close it off.
But they have other storylines to finish. Plus, you have the potential Galactus to deal with as well, probably after Doctor Doom.
Well, Galactus is going to show up in the new Fantastic Four, and they've already casted him.
Yeah.
So it's like, we're going to see Galactus. Yep. They might defeat Galactus by the end of the movie, though. But I can also see a crazy multiverse-like event for the next two Avengers.
Yep.
What if they bring in Miles Morales? Are they going to bring back Tobey Maguire? Are they going to bring back Andrew Garfield?
What about Ghost Rider, though?
Nicolas Cage is Ghost Rider?
Or maybe a different variant, or a different person to cast as Ghost Rider. Because it would be something to see. Let's say Galactus gets away or something like that. And he, and eventually in a later Avenger movie, he comes back even stronger. And a lot of the Marvel people, the heroes, are about to lose. And then Ghost Rider comes riding in, and it's like a 1v1 between Ghost Rider and Galactus.
Kind of like in the Fantastic Four 90s cartoon?
Something like that, yeah. Where it's like a 1v1 with two powerhouses.
I don't know if I want to see a Galactus Ghost Rider fight.
In live action, two powerhouses fighting with each other.
I've got better ideas for Ghost Rider in the MCU.
Yeah.
But there's going to be some kind of crazy multiverse event.
Yeah.
But I will say this: when those two movies come out, I will not look up I'll try not to look up the cast list, because the cameo list for Deadpool and Wolverine was really bothering me due to all the speculation. I had to do it.
Yeah. But it's like that was one of the big part of this movie is the cameo list.
Well, there was stuff about it that was really bothering me. I had to look it up.
Yeah.
But still, with the way it was revealed, it was still kind of strange how they handled it.
Yeah.
Very tongue in cheek, but with the next couple of Avengers movies, I'm gonna see if I can stay on the kind of under the radar, so I don't know anything. But all I know is that there's going to be something crazy. There's going to be something big.
Yep.
The Russo brothers are back for the next two, like they were with Endgame and Infinity War. So it will be crazy. I don't know what they're going to do, but there's going to be something big that will happen.
Yep.
But really, just end the universe, because, I mean, this had a good run. Let DC kind of do their thing now that James Gunn has his reboot in the works.
Well, we gotta see how that's taking off though with the reboot though, because the MCU will still go on until it completely flatlines. Because right now
or the money will dry up eventually, and then maybe they run out of ideas or something.
Maybe we'll see, but in the meantime, because this one got a lot of box office success and stuff like that, it brought back life a little bit some more basically to the MCU.
And now we just got to find out if Captain America 4 and Thunderbolts will keep that going. But who knows? And then with Phase 6 and whatever else they got planned, we'll see what goes on and stuff. But there's some big stuff coming.
Definitely.
And anyway, I think that's the best way we can close this off, is that... there were a lot of people that had a good time. This was, a tongue-in-cheek experience for me, but I knew that going in.
Yeah. And for me, seeing a third time, still very much fun.
Yeah, and so Marvel's got some big stuff planned. I'm going to sort of stay low on the radar for that, but there's a lot of stuff coming. I think there's nothing else to say.
All right.
We'll see y'all next time.
Yep.